Part 10. I love the demon lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 91. Chapter 91, 91. Sleeping together. Ligs you, I've become an outsider? Please subscribe. Hong Ai, do you know where you went wrong? Looking at the blue-haired beautiful girl obediently bending over, Bai Feng asked coldly. Ye Hong Ai shook his head, blushing and said, Hong Ai doesn't know, but is willing to listen to Godfather's teachings. Okay, then the deity will tell you. Bai Feng raised his eyebrows. Today's celebration, the senior leaders of the sect and the heads of many vassal forces were all present, but you did not show your grace and power as the suzerain. On the contrary, you actually ran here to compete with Lingyan and Xin get drunk for fun. I am very disappointed in you. Godfather, Hong Yi knows his mistake. Ye Hong Ai glanced at Tantai Lingyan in a panic, and said weakly, Hong Ai originally wanted to go out with the Godfather to entertain guests, but seeing Miss Lingyan's expression was not right, she was worried, so she went followed. It's a mistake, you lie down, the Godfather will punish you later. Bai Feng said with a dignified expression, I hold the soul ring of Kang Ming in my hand, and I have been entrusted by my ancestors. I personally admonish you this time, isn't it too much? Hearing this, Ye Hong Ai's heart was shaken. In mind. I can't help but recall the scene of this man who was like a master, like a father a while ago, resisting all opinions and supporting her to take over the position. However, even if he is so selfless to himself. When she concluded that strange threesome contract last night, she still had a moment to suspect that this Godfather had some kind of crazy sex addiction. He treats you as his own, devotes all his energy and dedication, but you are doubting him. Bai Feng snorted faintly. Then, stepping over the bodies of Xin and Hong Ai, she walked towards the gentle and beautiful girl who was brought up by one hand, like a picture scroll fairy. Master. Tantai Lingyan lowered her head, not daring to look directly at the man in front of her. No need to say much. Bai Feng caressed the second disciple's long hair, and his voice became much gentler. Master asks you a question, and you answer it, okay. Unexpectedly, the man who was so strict with Hong Yi just now suddenly became gentle. Tantai Lingyan froze for a long time, then nodded, okay. Do you think Master has ulterior motives in letting you conclude the three-person contract? Bai Feng asked. I answer truthfully. A little bit, maybe. Tantai Lingyan lowered her head and said in a mosquito-like voice. Bai Feng smiled wryly and said, as expected. Then Master tells you that the three-person contract has another most important function besides allowing the two contracted daughters to submit to the contracted master emotionally. After hearing this, not only Tantai Lingyan, even Xin and Hong Ai at the side raised their heads and listened attentively. But I heard this unfathomable man say, after the contract is concluded, the deity can enter your body in the form of the primordial spirit at any time, and bless you with strength and understanding. In this way, you will be able to obtain 100 times, 1,000 times the speed of improvement, so as to realize your dreams. Speaking of this, Bai Feng sighed, and said, red clothes, if I remember correctly, on that snowy day, when you first met this deity, you once told this deity that you wanted to fulfill the last wish of Patriarch Kang Ming, and unify the East. Soil, is it? Ah. Hearing this, Ye Hong Ai was stunned for a second, and then, the tears that had been swirling in his eyes burst out. He actually remembered. This man, he remembered every word he said. He always cares about himself. Just never say it. This. What a silent and great love this is. In an instant, huge ripples appeared in Ye Hong Ai's heart again. She didn't care anymore and crawled under the man's knee. Suddenly hugged his thigh. Godfather. Hong Yi understands. Hong Ai finally understands the big love in your mouth. The world has misunderstood so much. My godfather is the real great love immortal venerable. Her voice was hoarse with excitement. Baifeng's body trembled slightly when he heard it. I go. Did Xing'er say what she said? It's over, another crazy one. Baifeng cleared his throat, and continued, the way of great love that I pursue does not need anyone's approval, including you, my goddaughter. You just need to know that the purpose of this deity's three-person contract with you is to help you grow faster. In that case, I, the godfather, can entrust you with all the power of the section. After finishing speaking, he looked at the dazed second disciple again. Lingian, your talent is one of the best among the young generation in the Eastern demonic Dao. However, even so, it is still far from enough to revive your Tantai ancient clan. As a teacher, I know why you were willing to join the magic way in the first place. I also know that you are willing to sacrifice everything in order to revive the family's dream. So, my apprentice, if the teacher doesn't help you, who else will help you? When he said the last sentence, the second disciple in front of him was already in tears. However, she did not surrender immediately like the two sisters, but asked with red eyes, then, dare to ask Master. Did you already know the ambition in Lingian's heart when you accepted Lingian? Yes. All the falsehoods in this world can't be hidden from the eyes of Demon Lord Qingling. Baifeng said, frankly speaking, as a teacher, I don't care what purpose you hide in your heart. What I really care about as a teacher is. As he spoke, he stretched out his hand and lifted the bangs on the girl's forehead, completely revealing a beautiful and dignified melon-shaped face. Lingian, you are the most sensible and intelligent little girl that my teacher has met in this life. After saying this sentence, he felt the disappointed gaze of the young disciple beside him, so he quickly added. Same as your junior sister Xing'er. As soon as this word came out, the noble and ancient bloodline flowing in her body, the naturally proud fairy Tantai has completely fallen. Master. Lingian, I'm sorry. While talking, Tantai Lingian took a few quick steps and threw herself into the man's arms. Because of her violent movements, the 3,000 black hairs that reached her waist danced like a waterfall, covering Baifeng's cheeks. It smells so good, Suzun. Baifeng was distracted, instinctively stretched out his hand, supported the slender waist of the second disciple, and while the second daughter on the ground was not paying attention, he quickly kissed Lingian's forehead. Ah, Master. Facing Master's handsome face so close. Tantai Lingian's pretty face was flushed, she was always dignified and quiet, at this moment, her beautiful eyes were wide open, like a kitten in shock, speechless. Okay, go lie down there with Hong Ai and Xing'er. Baifeng's eyes became serious again, as my second disciple of Yuluo Palace, you got drunk on your own tonight, and you failed to fulfill your duty as the host, and punishment is inevitable. Yes, yes. Being dropped to the ground by the master's big hand, Tantai Lingian's cheeks were blushing, and a pair of white and beautiful bare feet stood on tiptoe, and timidly came to the side of the two sisters. Wow, second senior sister, are you here too? Sen Xing'er said in amazement with her cat-like eyes shining brightly. Yahong Ai was both surprised and happy, and murmured softly, Sister Lingian, you should have come here long ago. Not daring to look directly at the eyes of the two sisters, Tantai Lingian slowly squatted down. Travel to this moment. Finally, the internal hostility and disputes have been completely quelled, right? All that's left is. Baifeng secretly took out the stealing shadow Ji bead in his bosom, and used a secret method to transmit sound. Lixu, have you seen it? Xing'er and Lingian have accepted the great love of being a teacher, how about you? Are you still obsessed with it? No reply. After a while, in the stealthy Shadoji, there was another faint sobbing sound. Baifeng put the stealing Shadoji bead in his pocket, and took out the spacious dreaming bed from the storage space. Now that the enemy is at hand, we need to unite even more internally. Hong Ai, Lingian, Xin all come up. There is no punishment tonight, just sincere, simple exchanges. He stepped forward, patted the buttocks of the three beautiful girls one by one admonishingly. At the same time, Middle-earth, thousands of miles away. On the sword dance of Jinwu sword sect. A tall, cold-looking woman in black, with a face ashen ashes, knelt on her knees, with a sad smile on the corner of her mouth. Okay. So good. Lingian, Xin you accepted that person's so-called big love, but now, I, the first senior sister who got started, have become outsiders, right? Feng Lixu said sadly. There is extreme resentment in my heart, but there is also a trace of inexplicable unwillingness and jealousy mixed in. Suddenly, in those icy and sharp eyes, like a beautiful snake, there is a drop of crystal clear things. There have been fewer updates in the past few days, and I have been revising the previous article. The brothers in the group should know. Don't keep books, everyone, so that you can see the uncensored version for the first time. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 92. Outside the cave. The rain was violent and the wind was violent. In the underground palace, Bai Feng was calm and relaxed. Continue to meticulously explain to two disciples and a goddaughter the knowledge of all kinds of magic forbidden skills. Until those eyes shining with turbulent magic light became as clear as a sage. The essence in the body is exhausted. Only then did he finally stop and adjust his interest rate. At this moment, through the rippling water, smooth as a mirror, Bai Feng was surprised to find that the sword mark scratched by Mu Xinlan at the corner of his eye has disappeared. Strange. In my memory, Mu Xinlan burned the corners of my eyes with the yin fire sword energy conceived by the 9 tribulations of yin devouring fire. The power of this sword is so terrifying that, relying on my powerful innate formlessness, even the demon body failed to heal the sword mark. How could it be cured all of a sudden? Could it be? Suddenly, Bai Feng thought of something. Hurry up and call out the system panel. Really? In addition to the congenital formless demon physique and ghost traveling spirit physique, there is also a mysterious ice bright jade physique. It is the physique of the goddaughter Yehong Ai, a descendant of the Ice Clan royal family. It's exactly the same as the process of fusing Xing'er's ghost-controlling spirit body. A night of hard training. He successfully copied Hong Yi's physique. The Xianbing Minjiu body can crystallize the injured body for a short time, and then, like scraping off ice crystal fragments, it will peel off the injured body surface and grow new skin. The whole process is only in the blink of an eye, without a trace of pain. Not bad, although the sword marks at the corners of the eyes don't affect anything, but this Xianbing Minjiu body, combined with my strong innate formless demon body, is absolutely invulnerable, and the physical defense is full. But then again, is it so easy to copy? After the hangover, scenes reappeared in front of my eyes. Bai Feng couldn't help but feel that his head was a little swollen. There is a feeling like a dream in my heart. Forget it, this test will be passed sooner or later. Next, I will go to the Acacia sect to attend the meeting, and the rear cannot tolerate a slight change. And mutual integration is the only way to eliminate the gap. Hong Ai and Xin are nothing, I just hope that Lingian won't hate me. I remembered the fearful and helpless eyes of the second disciple last night. Bai Feng couldn't help feeling guilty. Gently moving her body, passing Xin and Hong Ai's body, she came to the side of the second disciple Lingian. Lingian, don't blame the deity. Master respects me. I still appreciate my bell tone very much. He muttered to himself, stroking Lingian's cheek lovingly and distressedly. At this moment, a weak female voice came. Really? Master? Huh? Lingian, are you not asleep? Baifeng stared in astonishment at the second disciple who opened his beautiful eyes. When she saw that her face was still flushed, the top knot that was usually tightly tied had long been removed, and her black hair was untied, which complemented Yehong I's ice blue long hair next to her. The ringtone at this moment was like nothing he had ever seen before. She is obviously just an adult. Added some charming feminine charm. Tantai Lingian shook his head, his eyes were red, he covered his stomach and said, "Can I answer Lingian?" "Master." Her soft eyes flickered, her expression was pitiful, as if she was about to shed tears in the next second. "It is true." Baifeng said with a cold expression, "Listen well, I will say it again. Master, I like my ringtone very much. It's the same in the past, present, and future." Hearing what the man in front of him said, Tantai Lingian closed her beautiful eyes in satisfaction. The tears that swirled all night in the eye sockets flowed down the eyelashes. At the same time, the entanglement, fear, and hesitation of this night are all gone in an instant. "Master. In fact, the ringtone is also. I have always secretly admired Master. In an instant, the gentle and quiet fairy Tantai no longer cared about her, and boldly and passionately expressed the girl's thoughts that had been buried for more than 10 years. After all, he didn't dare to look directly into Master's eyes, nor did he dare to wait for his response. For the first time in her life, like junior sister seeing her, she voluntarily threw herself into that broad chest. At this point, the master and apprentice embrace each other affectionately, letting go of all suspicions. But for Baifeng, at this moment, she is embracing Suzun Chan's soft and tender body, which is only covered with a tulle. Except, the confession of this second disciple who hated him for many years. Baifeng realized that he didn't have the slightest pleasure in conquering Han Jiniang. Yes, just distressed. Just love and pity. After all, he is a disciple brought up by himself. Those warm memories of the past have long been deeply implanted in his mind. As a master, he knows better than anyone else. The girl in front of her was smarter and more careful than the senior sister, and more mature and stable than the junior sister. At the age of 12 or 13, he was able to manage the affairs of Yuluo Palace in an orderly manner. However, it is also because of this. In these years, among the 3 apprentices, she took the initiative to bear the most punishments. Her quiet and indisputable personality caused her to receive the most neglect. Even in the previous game, her popularity was far lower than that of the other 2 senior sisters. "Lingian, no matter how the world treats you, from now on, Master will love you, you know." Baifeng caressed the ends of the 2 disciples' hair and said. After hearing this, the girl in her arms cried even harder. "Do you know? Master has been waiting for this day for a long time." Baifeng said. "As soon as the words came out of my mouth, I felt something was wrong, so I quickly added, ahem, this deity refers to the day when we, the master and the apprentice, let go of the past and are of the same mind." He was talking. "Just like when I was a child, I dressed the second apprentice, tied her hair in a bun, patted her beautiful face, and said lovingly, 'Okay, my Lingian is beautiful again, don't cry.'" Tantai Lingian nodded, put down her guard completely, and snuggled into the arms of Master. A pair of beautiful eyes looked at the younger sister Xing'er and the best friend Hong Ai who were sleeping soundly beside them. Scenes emerged last night. The cheeks could not help but red again. "Hey, are you blushing?" Baifeng raised his eyebrows slightly, and rubbed his apprentice's little head. "Humph." Tantai Lingian held her hot and beautiful face, and she, who had always behaved maturely and dignifiedly, snorted coquettishly like a little girl, "Master. You. In the end, her voice became smaller and smaller, like a mosquito. Finally, she raised her fingertips, and gently poked Master's broad and firm chest. "Master is bad." Seeing the young girl's delicate state, Bai Feng almost couldn't hold back the master's airs, and laughed out loud. However, even though he tried his best to control his expression, something was discovered by his careful apprentice. "What is master happy about?" Tantai Lingian pouted and asked. In the end, she didn't know where the courage and impulsiveness came from. She actually followed Singer's appearance last night, pursed her lips, and planted a strawberry mark on master's neck. "Nothing, I just didn't expect it," Bai Feng said with emotion on his face. "My family's Lingian also has a girlish and innocent side." When the other party said this, Tantai Lingian blushed even more. Lingian is only 2 years older than junior sister Singer, so she is naturally a girl. Yes. Bai Feng nodded lightly, put his arms around the second disciple and stopped talking. If possible, he only hopes that in the future, there will be more such quiet and comfortable time. In this case, as an old devil, he can slowly guide Lingian and Hong Ai, making them as awesome as Singer. Hey, the enemy is in front of us, what more can we ask for? When my Hehuan sect and his party kill Jitame and seize the position of leader of the Devil Dao, then it's time to fight Mu Xinlan. Forget it, before I leave, I have to use another way to meet that brother Ji and the treasure he is going to give to me, Lin Xian Xian. Yuan Shen. Activate. Bai Feng was making up his mind to pay attention. But suddenly there are 2 more youthful and beautiful faces in his arms. It was Singer and Hong Ai. It turns out that these 2 girls have been pretending to be asleep. Bai Feng was astonished. Wow! It's exactly what Sister Hong Ai said. Senior Sister Lingian actually loves Master in her heart. It's just that there is no chance to be alone, it's just expression. Sen Singer smiled like a flower, with a pair of white tender fruit legs, constantly swinging, extremely happy. Ye Hong Ai lowered her head, not daring to look directly at the shy and resentful girlfriend in front of her. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 93. Chapter 93-93. Walking with the Stars. Lin Xian Xian, right? Wash it up and wait for the deity. Seeking subscription. The next day. In front of the gate of Kangming Sect's main altar, tens of thousands of disciples gathered here to practice for the representatives of the sect who participated in the meeting of the Demon Alliance. Despite this trip, in addition to the 2 hall masters, there are also a few foreign affairs elders from the Clan Affairs Council. But at the moment, the audience cheered, but only that man's name. I'll send you off to the Godfather. Godfather Kamui, invincible. With the Godfather coming out of the mountain, I can definitely win the position of leader. The shouts shook the sky and lasted for a long time. Godfather. With a tender girl's voice, filled with true energy, it overwhelmed all the voices present. Everyone was shocked, and they spontaneously moved out of the way. All under the watchful eye. A beautiful blue-haired girl with a noble temperament, wearing a white suzerain robe, led a group of high-ranking sect leaders towards Qingling Mozhen next to the Black Dragon chariot. Bai Feng was saying goodbye to his junior sister Yurong at the moment. When he saw the goddaughter approaching, he was slightly taken aback, and said calmly, "Sect Master, do you have other orders? I don't know if it's a relationship with this girl." He always felt that the current red sauce looked a little more mature. So much so that standing next to the plump and tall Yurong, her temperament is not inferior at all. How dare Hong Ai tell the Godfather? Hong Ai only hopes. Speaking of this, Ye Hong Ai's eyes rolled and her cheeks flushed slightly. Unable to resist, he stretched out a pair of snow-white hands, and helped the Godfather tidy his clothes in front of all the disciples. Such a gentle gesture. She is not so much a master of the demon sect who dominates the East, but more like a gentle and caring little daughter-in-law. All of a sudden, the disciples present were discussing. Look. In front of the Godfather, the suzerain's expression is so shy. Yes. This is the first time I have seen such a feminine side of the sovereign. One is the most popular demon Deo Supreme. The other is the youngest master of the Dark Sea in history. They are a perfect match. Keep your voice down, brother. Knocking on everything will only hurt you. Don't forget Palace Master Bai, he is the godfather of the suzerain. Godfather and goddaughter? Then it's even more chicken. I like it. Listen to the surrounding discussions. Hua Yuerong's complexion sank slightly, and she walked up to separate the little suzerain from her senior brother. Sovereign, it's getting late, the couple of Ren and his wife of the Azura Hall have already set off first. What do you have to do with my teacher, Palace Master Bai? Please tell me quickly. Cough cough. The master of the Flower Palace is serious, but it's nothing. Yehong Ai cleared his throat, and suddenly remembered, the previous trip to Black Moon City, he saw in the carriage, the scene where the Godfather put his head on the chest of the Flower Palace master. She suddenly realized something. His eyes suddenly turned cold. Master Hua, what the suzerain wants to say to my Godfather, as a subordinate, I'm afraid you have no right to interfere. Hua Yuerong frowned beautifully, but was a little speechless. Looking at the two girls looking at each other full of gunpowder. Bai Feng's heart sank as well. Why is it such a chilling feeling again? No, there is no such thing as a Shura field in Demon Lord Kingling's harem. He hurriedly separated the two, glanced at the elders behind Yehong Ai, and said loudly, Sect Master, there are no outsiders here. If you have anything to tell the master, just say it. Yehong Ai's small face hesitated for a few seconds, and then, in public, he took off the plum blossom hairpin from his head and stuffed it into the big hands of the Godfather. After that, she didn't care about the eyes of others. Bowing down and bowing, she said with bright eyes, what Hong Ai wants to tell the Godfather is that the result of participating in the alliance meeting this time is not important. What Hong Ai hopes in his heart, is that the Godfather returns safe and sound. As my grandfather said when he was alive. The Kangming sect cannot live without a Godfather. Red clothes. I can't do without the help of the Godfather. She spoke with sincerity. The senior officials of Kangming next to them all witnessed the process of this pair of uncle and girl working together to eradicate powerful enemies and ascend to the highest position in the sect. All of a sudden, they were all moved by it. Bai Feng was also deeply moved. Originally, he helped Yehong Ai ascend to the position, just to obtain the key of the Flame Demon Tower and control the sect's power. As for the old ancestor Twago, he didn't care at all. But now, after getting along with her for this period of time, he really has a good impression of this goddaughter. And this favorability has absolutely nothing to do with her superb physique, just like Mrs. Ran's. It is true pure love. The deity knows. After noticing the soft eyes of junior sister Rong next to her, Bai Feng stretched out his hand and stroked the girl's hair. When the Godfather is not in the sect, you must also fulfill the responsibility of the suzerain, work hard, and prepare for the next big battle, got it? Yeah. Hong Yi knows it. Thinking of parting from this man who is like a teacher and a father, and how long it will be before seeing him again, Yehong Ai's eyes filled with tears, and he choked up and said, the Godfather's entrustment, Hong Ai never dares to forget. Hong Ai will definitely fulfill the promise made with the Godfather promise, make Kangmingzong great again. Very good. Bai Feng nodded slightly, and took out a booklet casually, this is for you. This is. Looking at the words written by the Godfather himself, Yehong Ai's cheeks instantly turned red. Shouldn't it be a love letter from my Godfather? Think about it. Her heart was pounding. You know, That night, after she confusedly merged with her godfather, the latter never came to her again. Did not give her any promises. This list of apprentices contains the strategy for governing the sect's internal affairs formulated by the deity for you, as well as all the trustworthy people in the sect except for Lingian and Huadian master. Baifeng pulled the girl aside, and used a secret method to transmit sound. Being a teacher, the girl was stunned. Yes, this is also what my friend in my hometown, Yang, taught me. In this way, even if the deity is not there, you can still calm down the situation with their assistance. Bai Fengjiao said earnestly. He was telling the truth. The internal power structure of the Kangming sect is too large and complicated. It is definitely not a 17-year-old girl in the alchemy stage who can control it freely. Yang. The girl put the pamphlet into her arms, and couldn't help asking, the godfather also mentioned earlier that there is a brother Mengda in your hometown. Do they know each other? Can you recruit them into the sect together? Ahem, they don't have a good relationship. Baifeng quickly changed the topic, and looked at the junior sister who was looking sad. Wrong-er, when the senior brother is away, the important task of assisting the suzerain will be entrusted to you. Brother, don't worry, Wrong-er will understand. Hua Yuerong gently held her senior brother's palm. Her beautiful eyes said worriedly, if senior brother encounters any difficulties in the Hehuan sect, please send the sound transmission to Wrong-er from thousands of miles away, okay? Wrong-er, don't forget. Looking at his junior sister's peach blossom eyes full of affection and sadness, Bai Feng also showed infinite love and pity, and couldn't help but say the declaration 100 years ago again, your senior brother Qingling is omnipotent. After hearing this, Hua Yuerong's beautiful eyes froze, and waves surged in her heart. In an instant, it seemed as if I had returned to 100 years ago, and I saw that stubborn and resolute young man by the creek again. The pretty face under the veil instantly burst into tears. At this moment, if it is not in the public, she wished she could immediately hug the senior brother in front of her, and put his head into her bosom, so as to comfort her. After all, like this, senior brother seems to like it very much. Seeing the appearance of his junior sister, Bai Feng suddenly felt a little ashamed. Right now, Hong Ai, Lingian, and Xinger have poured great love into each other, but this little junior sister who is their first love has not been there for a long time. Looking at Wrong-er like this, I'm afraid I won't be able to delay. If I succeed in defeating the demon lord this time, I must do well, one-on-one and wholeheartedly, pouring great love into Wrong-er. Bai Feng secretly swore in his heart. Then, after saying hello to several familiar senior elders, they boarded the black dragon chariot. It was at this moment that he realized something. Where's Lingian and Xinger? Can't they give the deity? He just felt a sense of loss in his heart. Above the valley, there was a pleasant sound of the piano. The sound of the piano is curling, lingering in the airs, sometimes tactful, sometimes sad, as if a girl is pouring out her thoughts. The subtleties touch the heartstrings. There was once again a burst of exclamation at the scene. Wow! What a beautiful piano sound! I thought Tantai Guardian's piano skills were invincible in the world, but I didn't expect anyone to be better than her. Which family's disciple is this? It's Fairy Tantai. She came to play the piano for her master. Everyone in the audience, following the sound of the piano, looked up. That is, I saw a young girl in white clothes like snow, with picturesque eyes, sitting on a blue stone, playing the piano, 3,000 blue silks, not bound, dancing with the wind. The expression is like a fairy in the sky. Lingian, you really still can't let go of your master. Bai Feng's heart warmed up. Suddenly, I felt that all these years of upbringing and the 3 transmissions of great love that night were not in vain. Look carefully. This second disciple, who never wears makeup, put on light makeup today. The ethereal long skirt was also carefully cut, revealing part of her beautiful snow-white legs. And Bai Fen knew it in his heart. Everything about her changed. It's just that night, I praised her beautiful legs. Just when he was feeling. Following the sound waves of the zither, a shy and sweet girl's voice came into my ears. Master, for your expedition this time, there is no other gift for Lingian, but the first song of breaking the tribulation you gave me as a gift. I only hope Lingian's piano skills today did not disappoint you. Bai Fen looked at the two disciples from a distance, and echoed gently, that's right, your piano art has become more and more perfect, the only fly in the ointment is. Lingian, your voice is a bit narrow. Forget it, I will play another song with you when I conquer the 8 demon sects as my teacher and triumphantly. Devil's Nirvana Song. Hearing this voice, Tantai Lingian's blood surged. Yes. Lingian. Looking forward to your return. Because this trip brought several capable deacons of the main hall. The Black Dragon chariot does not need to be driven by Bai Fen himself. Get inside the chariot. Sit cross-legged. Bai Fen couldn't help feeling ups and downs, muttering to himself. Madame Ren and the others set off early before dawn. According to normal calculations, they may arrive at the Hehuan sect half a day earlier than me. What is she doing? Does she want to avoid me deliberately? Dianqing that night, when she saw me holding Ronger's hand, she wouldn't be really jealous, would she? I gave her a piece of black silk anyway. Even though it was open. Forget it, I don't want her anymore, let's talk about it later. By the way, where did Xinger go? Thinking of that little disciple who was as cute and obedient as a puppy, Bai Fen couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. Normally, in such a farewell scene like today, she will definitely pester herself and reward for a long time. Just when he couldn't figure it out. Suddenly, he frowned, and found something. Who is it? After a second, a playful and pleasant girlish voice came from outside the shed. Master! Your super cute and invincible star dog is here, asterisk. What the hell? Bai Feng's body shook. Then, looking sideways. Then I saw a white silk calf, with its toes pointing down, stretching in from outside the car shed. Then, there are thighs with a bit of baby's sensuality, and a small and exquisite slender waist, with the magic sealing strip attached. In the end, she got inside completely. That bright smiling face like a girl in the second dimension is not my little disciple, but who is it? Stars are coming. As usual, Sen Xinger plunged headlong into Master's arms. It still has to be you, Xinger. Bai Feng looked at the girl who was having fun in his arms, and a wry smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. My teacher just taught you the ancient breath restraint technique, and you have already comprehended it to such a degree that even my teacher almost didn't realize it. Of course. Fortunately, Lord Tianchen didn't blame her for appearing without authorization. Sen Xinger smiled like a flower, and boldly planted strawberries on Master's neck like a chicken pecking at rice. Xinger can't live without her master at all, that's why, carrot. She pretended to sigh and leaned on Master's shoulder. However, the man in front of him didn't respond. This undoubtedly made her a little guilty. Obediently, stepped aside. At this time, a male voice that made her extremely excited sounded. Xinger, you should be clear. The puppy did something wrong, but it will be severely punished. Bai Feng said coldly. The words just fell off. A joyful and pleasant girl's laughter came. His eyes were suddenly covered by something. It's a Velcro. Next moment. Confused. That night. Hehuan sect, the main hall of the Suzerain. Suzerain Ji Tame, wearing a black and white ghost robe, paced back and forth above the main hall. Seems to have a very dignified mind. Behind him was a beautiful girl wearing royal costumes, with a golden head adorned with golden steps, and a dignified temperament,
said in a cold voice. Sect Master G, the one who should come will come sooner or later, won't he? Then Bai Qingling was invited to participate in the meeting, and it fell into the arms of my master. In this way, I can do it. Speaking of this, the girl blushed and stopped talking suddenly. After a moment of silence, he couldn't help asking again, speaking of Sect Master G, have you seen that Bai Qingling? What does this person look like? Hey, my princess. Ji Taimei said with a bitter face, at this time, you still care about this person's appearance. Humph, I'm just curious. Lin Xianxian snorted coldly, folded her beautiful legs, and lay lazily on the sovereign's bench beside her. The two never spoke again. A moment of silence. A cold and domineering male voice came faintly from outside the endless void. Interesting. Do you really want to know what this deity looks like? You might as well come and see for yourself. Hear this voice. Ji Taimei's hair stood on end coldly, her meticulously combed grey hair parted in the middle suddenly became messy. Bakingling's voice. He spoke tremblingly, and it took a lot of effort to say the man's name completely. Lin Xianxian also looked up into the sky with her beautiful eyes in horror. At this moment, the ghostly voice came again. Brother Ji, this girl is your gift to me, Lin Xianxian, right? Wash it well and wait for the deity. G. Lin Xianxian. I love the demon lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 94. Chapter 94, 94. The occupied Lin Xianxian. Master, I am sorry for you. What a disgusting greasy laugh. Is this really the voice of the devil? Lin Xianxian looked at the void with her beautiful eyes in horror. Next moment, a terrifying coercion that she had never felt before hit her face. In an instant, the entire Hehuan sect hall was enveloped. Immediately afterwards, a domineering and mighty phantom of a black dragon shot out from the void, hovering above the hall, with a pair of blood-colored vertical pupils, looking down indifferently, like an ancient demon god looking down on the world. This is such a terrifying coercion. Although it is much inferior to masters, it is not inferior to the leaders of the four authentic sects. So, is the true body of this old white devil coming? Lin Xianxian's heart trembled, and she kept stepping back. Are you afraid of this deity? Your Royal Highness. He long actually spit out people's words. Lin Xianxian forcibly restrained her mind, gritted her teeth and said, is it the godfather Bai of the Kangming sect? The little girl is not afraid of you. On the contrary, the little girl is actually very. Speaking of this, her cheeks turned red, and the strong sense of shame made her stop talking. Your Highness, finish your speech. The black dragon in the void issued the order again. His voice is very flat, but it has a suffocating pressure. Oh, Lord Bai. What are you doing? Ji Taimei, the patriarch of Hehuan, quickly put on a smile and said, Palace Master Bai, as you can see, His Royal Highness the 9th Princess of Chu has admired you since she was a child, and she came all the way to Dongtu just to serve you left and right. And she at this moment. It's normal to be too shy to speak when you meet the person you admire the most. He Jiao snorted coldly, and his vertical pupils shining with magic brilliance suddenly became extremely cold and stern. Brother Ji, did the deity ask you? Huh. Ah this. Frightened by this look, Ji Taimei trembled all over, and quickly looked at Lin Xianxian who was beside her, Your Highness. The Mojun's primordial spirit came out of his body this time, and he traveled here just to see you in advance. How happy you are! Quick! Boldly speak out your admiration for the demon lord. While urging, he kept winking at the head disciple Suanv next to him. In such a suffocating atmosphere, Lin Xianxian bit her lower lip tightly, struggling violently in her heart. No. I must not be like this. I only have brother Xiao Chen who is the best to me in my heart. If I confess the soul of brother Xiao Chen to another man, how much pain will I have under the 9 springs? Furthermore, I am the #1 genius of the great Chu royal family, Lin Mo's younger sister. I must not embarrass brother San Huang. Her heart churned. Sticking close to the wall, he didn't dare to look directly at the vertical pupils of the black dragon. However, at this time, another voice sounded in my mind. No. Lin Xianxian, don't forget the purpose of coming here. You accepted the mission of the master, came here to confuse Bai Qingling, assisted Ji Taimei to kill him, and avenged senior brother Xiao Chen. He warned himself in his heart. Lin Xianxian gritted her teeth and said with flushed cheeks. Report to Lord Mojun. Xianxian admires you very much. And I hope that I can serve by Mojun's side for the rest of my life. She closed her eyes tightly, and said it all at once. The moment the words just came out, there was a huge sense of shame in her heart. I'm sorry, senior brother Xiao Chen. I'm sorry, brother Lin Mo. Xianxian is feeding a tiger with her body this time, plotting the overall situation. She tried desperately to comfort herself. At this time, the man's voice came again. So, in what capacity do you want to serve the deity? This. Hearing this question at first, Lin Xianxian panicked. After exchanging glances with Ji Taimei, her pretty face turned red, she bit her lips and said, It's all right. Be a slave, a handmaiden, or a concubine. It all depends on the Lord Mojun's liking. Also, speaking of this, her cheeks blushed even more, she lowered her head, endured the humiliation, and said what Ji Taimei taught her. Xianxian is still a pure and flawless body. Willing to be the furnace of Lord Mojun. Never mind. Anyway, this time at the Demon Alliance conference, Bangong and Ji Taimei have already laid a net. Swear to kill this devil. Now. It's just a lie to him. Lin Xianxian clenched her fists so tightly that her nails sank into her flesh. However, what she never expected was that. She is a big princess of Chu, she is so condescending, she is willing to be lowly. The black dragon in the sky snorted coldly, looked contemptuously and indifferently, and said coldly. Listen, you, for the time being, you are not worthy to be the furnace of this deity. However, this deity can give Her Royal Highness a chance to stay with this deity temporarily. Everything. Let's start by being the dog of the deity. What? Hearing this, Lin Xianxian's beautiful eyes glared angrily, and her pretty face turned pale. How unreasonable. She is Lin Xianxian, the majestic 9th princess of the Chu dynasty. The Taoist Xuanv, the first disciple of Mu Sheng. The devil let himself be his dog. Chewing on this extremely insulting word, Lin Xianxian was furious. I can't wait to activate the Yunggong Taoism taught by my master now, and burn the phantom of the primordial spirit in front of me to nothing. Humiliation. This is the greatest humiliation she has ever suffered in her life. Ji Taimei beside her also had a numb scalp. He thought he had enough tricks. Unexpectedly, this old friend of the same age, Bai Laomo, is even more perverted than him. Let luck prosper, and the princess of the great Chu dynasty, who cooks with fire, be her own dog. Apart from this demon lord who acted against the sky, probably no one dared to say such words, right? Ahem, that demon lord. Seeing Lin Xianxian at the side was out of anger, Ji Taimei hurried forward and smoothed things over. After all, Xianxian is the princess of the most prosperous cultivation dynasty in the world, and her status is extraordinary, this dog. Because of her extraordinary status, this deity is willing to give her this opportunity. He Jiao said in a cold voice, otherwise, do you think anyone can be the dog of this deity? Ah, this. Ji Taimei was speechless, so she could only look at Lin Xianxian to the side, signaling for the latter to calm down. At this time, a resolute female voice resounded through the hall. Master Mo Jun is on top. I, the ninth princess of Great Chu, Lin Xianxian. Willing to be Lord Mo Jun. Dog. Enduring the unprecedented humiliation, Lin Xianxian closed her beautiful eyes, and finally said that word that made her lose her dignity. At the same time, tears of shame, uncontrollably flowing down the eyelashes, and sliding down to the beautiful cheeks. Brother Chen, Brother Sanhuang, I'm sorry for you. All of this is the task of Master. Master, she is a saint. And a saint is absolutely infallible. Whispered inwardly. The 16-year-old princess of the royal family turned her head aside, sobbing loudly. Tisk tisk, I can endure what ordinary people can't. This woman has the appearance of an empress. Ji Taimei on the side was also dumbfounded, amazed in her heart. He really didn't expect it. This arrogant and savage little princess is willing to temporarily bow her head and act like a dog in front of that man. I do not know how long it has been. Lin Xianxian stopped crying, and the man's voice came again. And I don't know if she was thinking too much. This time, the devil's voice was surprisingly gentle. Very good, she is indeed the younger sister of Lin Mo, the arrogance of the royal family. She is an obedient dog. Raise your head and let this deity take a good look at you. Hearing this, Lin Xianxian was shocked and raised her head instinctively. Just to see. The phantom of the black dragon has already turned into a human form. It was a tall and burly man with a pale complexion and almost perfect body proportions. However, on this majestic and mighty demon body, there is actually a handsome face with deep and handsome features, as if carved by a god. Is he the legend, the most popular big devil in the East, Qingling demon? Master, she really didn't lie to me. This devil is really young. He looks good too. This is the first time I saw this powerful demonic supreme. Lin Xianxian opened her mouth slightly, feeling as if her heart was about to jump out. She is a girl who pays great attention to a man's appearance. Whether it is the imperial brother Lin Mo, or the childhood sweetheart senior brother Xiao, she has a natural sense of intimacy. However, at this moment, she had to admit it. Compared with this perfect figure, handsome yet domineering Mo Jun, Brother Sanhuang and that brother Chen are like childish little boys, their auras have been instantly killed. This is the image of a real stalwart man in Lin Xiangxian's mind. At this moment, Lin Xiangxian's beautiful eyes were dull, and her heart was agitated. She even forgot that the man in front of her was the murderer who killed Brother Chen. She also forgot the purpose of Master sending her here, which is to drive all the men to death. And at this moment, the way the man looked at her was calm and gentle. Don't dare to look directly into the man's eyes. Lin Xiangxian's cheeks were flushed, and she quickly looked down the man's neck. Due to the lower front of the man's magic robe, the firm and unexaggerated chest muscles were slightly exposed. Lin Xianxian rested her cheeks on her hands, her eyes glowed with peach hearts, and she murmured. Jade body. If I can sleep in this broad and strong chest. She murmured in her heart. Next moment. Finally woke up. Master, Brother Chen, Brother Sanhuang, I'm so sorry for you. A huge sense of immorality welled up in my heart. Lin Xianxian pinched her wrist fiercely, and facing the phantom of the man above, she bowed down and said. Master Mo Jun, this is the first time we meet, please take care of me. The terrifying specter looked down at her, and quickly responded. Of course the deity will take good care of you. One day later, the deity will arrive at the Hehuanzong main altar. Wash it up and wait, this deity. Slender puppy. Besides, Brother G, I really like this gift of yours. Say it.
with the coercion in the void disappearing. Demon Lord Kingling's primordial spirit phantom suddenly dissipated, as if it had never existed. Lin Xianxian stared blankly at the afterimage of the man's disappearance with her beautiful eyes. As if still in a dream. What did the devil just say? He asked me to wash and wait. Then wouldn't he? What picture appeared in the mind? Lin Xianxian's eyes gradually blurred. If before killing him, I will be defiled by him. That's impossible, right? That's right. Master said that if you want to get rid of beasts, you must first dedicate yourself to them. Ah, Brother Chen. Xianxian will try her best to restrain herself. Over the eastern and southern domains. A black dragon chariot with a luxurious shape is speeding like electricity. Baifeng's primordial spirit converged and returned to his physical body in the car shed. Tisk tisk, I didn't expect that Her Royal Highness Princess Dachu is really moist, much more beautiful than Liwi in the game. Hey, it's a pity that Xiao Chen died early, otherwise he would have arranged a horseless show and recorded it with that pseudo-celestial stealing Shadowji. It must be a masterpiece handed down to future generations. Ahem, something's wrong. Why am I becoming more and more unrestrained in my actions now, breaking the bottom line? I am a demon, but I am also a normal person on Earth. Seeing that my thoughts are getting more and more out of line. Baifeng immediately changed his mind. Anyway. According to the laws of this world. The Dan shatters into a baby, and the nascent baby sits in the Danshan, and when it rises to the Niwen, it transforms into the nascent spirit. However, if you want to go out of your body freely, soar across the sky and the earth, and swim in the sea and the sky, you still have to step into the realm of transforming gods and cultivate the sun god. As for me, I am only at the initial stage of nascent soul, and I can travel freely, thanks to Yu Suzu's old age. Back then, he not only gave Bai Qingling a copy of Secret Book of Guzun, but also secretly planted the soul-stealing seal on him, trying to wait for him to become stronger, parachute the primordial spirit, and take away his body. But I didn't expect that Bai Qingling would detect it in advance, not only lifted the imprint, but also comprehended his Tegzushinai Dafa from this imprint, and could freely drive the primordial spirit to travel around the world of Jizhu. Baifeng murmured in his heart. Suddenly, an indescribable sense of pleasure came from my head. Immediately afterwards, his body couldn't help convulsing for a second, as strong as him, he couldn't resist the inexplicable feeling. Could it be Xing? Baifeng's heart was shocked, and he lowered his head to look. Sure enough, I saw a beautiful girl lying on the ground with a cute face. She had a pair of innocent and beautiful eyes, and she looked at herself playfully, as if she was appreciating every inch of happy expression on her face. Xing, you are so courageous. Didn't the teacher say that when the teacher activates the primordial spirit, he should protect the Dharma well and not allow anyone to take advantage of it? Baifeng adjusted his breathing, and said coldly. Congratulations to the host. Successful infusion of great love energy. You get points, 5,000 points. Target, Xing. Congratulations to the host. Successful infusion of great love energy. You have gained 10,000 points. Target, Lin Xianxian. Your current point balance, 95,000 points. What's the situation? Baifeng shuddered so violently that he sat up in shock. To know Xing's great love energy, this is what he can see. But what the hell is Lin Xianxian? Could it be that at this moment, she is? I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 95. Chapter 95, Xing's Tenderness. Demon Emperor's wife Xiao Qingmei, please subscribe. The sun is setting and twilight is falling. The black dragon chariot shuttled through the dark golden clouds all the way, and in a blink of an eye, it entered the sphere of influence of the Shiji sect in the middle of the eastern land, Tianhuang Prefecture. Inside the carriage shed, Bai Feng slowly sat up straight, supported the girl's waist, and put her down from her head. Immediately, with clear eyes, he said indifferently. "Xing enough is enough. 3 times. The deity has given you great love without reservation." Huh. Sen Xing tilted her head. "Is it over?" Bai Feng put on the posture of a master, and said. "Xing listen, everything has its limit, everything will be reversed, and wisdom will be hurt. Blindly seeking the ultimate joy will only make people lose their minds and fall into shackles. So, it's not for your husband to cough, it's not for you to be a teacher, but to follow the principles of nature." Bai Feng was preaching earnestly. Self-servingly holding one of the young apprentice's delicate feet, he helped her put on the white silk patiently and gently. Sen Xing raised her beautiful legs cooperatively, enjoying the gentleness of Lord Tianxian, while thinking about the other party's words. Her eyes lit up, showing an expression of admiration. "Ah! That's how it is." "Huh? Do you understand?" Bai Feng glanced at his apprentice. Hey, Xing actually didn't understand either. Sen Xing smiled embarrassedly, and said with a very serious face, "But Xing knows that the master is right, asterisk." Bai Feng. Next. "Just like when I was a child, after dressing up the apprentice, I combed her double ponytails. Only the velcro on the ground remained. After thinking about it, Bai Feng decided to throw it out of the car window." Hey, did the master not let Xing post it?" Sen Xing's eyes were full of puzzlement. "There is no need for this thing to exist." Bai Feng explained very seriously, "The reason why you couldn't break through the shackles before was because of your physical defects, and the new energy whirls escaped, and the innate formless demon body as your teacher can just make up for this defect. In other words, as a teacher, I have used the extremely yang body to plug the gap for you once and for all, and there is no need for magic stickers anymore." Is talking. The black dragon chariot driving in the air experienced a slight bump, and then sank suddenly. "What happened?" Bai Feng asked coldly. "Report to the lord of the palace. There is a flying boat of the demon emperor's envoy in front. According to Dongtu's practice, the chariots of our 8 major demon sects must consciously retreat." The deacon outside reported in panic. Bai Feng stared blankly, thoughtfully. This is exactly the same as the plot of the game in the previous life. Demon Emperor Zhangbaila did not attend the alliance meeting in person, but sent several envoys to attend the meeting with his wife Empress of Yin Xiao Qingmei. Whether Xiao Chen played by the player can conquer the 8 great demon sects and break Ji Taimei's conspiracy all depends on this woman. As for this Empress of Yin Xiao Qingmei, she is one of the 4 ancient clans in Yunzhou, a blood descendant of the Xiao family, and also Yuerong's second master. Yuerong can grow up quickly within 100 years, thanks to her. Also, like Yuerong, this large beauty who has lived for thousands of years is impossible to be captured by the hero Xiao Chen in the game. However, from the narration in the game, it can be seen that Xiao Qingmei admires Jingling Demon Venerable who has risen in the past century, so I can think about it. Bai Feng couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth. A plan against the sky sprouted in his mind. This plan undoubtedly gave him more confidence in killing Ji Taimei and seizing the position of leader of the Demon Dao. That's right. Even after taking back his heart and awakening the 9 Yi Burning Heaven art, his current strength is not enough to fight head-on with the heads of the 7 great demon sects. To be able to rule the roost in this chaotic and disorderly demon realm in the east, there is no one who is good. Even Ji Taimei, a clown, has the cultivation level of the peak of transforming gods. If he wants to securely win this big plot, he must rely on his strength. And that Empress Yin Xiao Qingmei, who is about the same generation as Mu Xinlan, is a suitable tool for him. Listen, don't back down.
My Kangming sex chariot does not need to make way for anyone. Baifeng said coldly. This. The deacon driving the car outside was silent for a second, gritted his teeth and said, "Follow the Lord's will." "Master, isn't that demon emperor the lord of the eastern land?" Sen Senior said worriedly from the side, "Is it really okay for us to do this? The so-called demon emperor is nothing but a famous mascot supported by the 8 major demon sections." Baifeng glanced at the little disciple. "Senior, you have been with me for so long, tell me, what should we do after taking down the position of leader of the demon Dao?" Sen Senior thought for a while, and said, "Senior remembers what the master said before, to mobilize all the power of the Eastern Earth Demon Way, to turn against Tiangang and invade the Middle Earth. That's for later." Baifeng shook his head. "We still need to control one person before." "Could it be?" Sen Senior's beautiful eyes flashed, and she thought of something, the demon emperor that the master just mentioned. That mascot. Seeing that master did not correct me. She went on to say, because the demon emperors of all dynasties are the blood descendants of Chi-Yu, the creator of the world, and represent the highest authority in the East, so the master must get rid of him, so that he can truly become the sole ruler of the East. It must be so. Yes, there is progress. Baifeng stretched out his hand, and pinched his apprentice's cute little face with relief. "Unfortunately, what you said is not entirely correct." "Huh?" Sen Senior tilted her head and was stunned for a while. Then, she got into the master's arms, and while enjoying the loving touch, she said coquettishly, "You." Looking at the young disciple's appearance, Baifeng felt affectionate, but at the same time hated that iron could not be made into steel. He really wanted to take advantage of this Demon Dao conference to help her practice and train her to be his right-hand man. After all, compared to Yuerong, Hong Ai, and the other 2 apprentices, Senior is the only existence that makes him feel that he can completely trust and control him. But I didn't expect that this girl could only act like a baby. However, at any rate, he is also the first destined Taoist companion in this life. What else? Pet chant. Senior, listen up. Baifeng caressed the girl's hair on the forehead, and said gently, "Your master is going to do a great event that has never been seen before. Hold the demon emperor to order Dongtu." "Ah! Hold the demon emperor hostage? Don't you kill this auspicious baby." Sen Senior was a little surprised. She poked her head out of the master's embrace and asked, "A living demon emperor is more useful than a dead demon emperor." Baifeng said sternly, "Dongtu is different from other regions in Yunzhou. It is a gathering place for demon cultivators in the world. It is chaotic and disorderly, full of killings and conspiracies everywhere. It's also because of this that Dongtu, for tens of thousands of years, has not been able to form a huge cultivation empire like the 3 great dynasties of Zongtu. Yes, they are just independent city-states and aristocratic families that are vassals of the 8 great demon sections. For thousands of years, the 8 major demon sects have maintained the most basic order in the eastern land. And the existence of the demon emperor maintains the balance between the 8 major demon sects in terms of law. It is precisely under this framework that the demonic Dao of the Eastern Earth has always maintained the strength to fight against the righteous way of the Middle Earth. Even if the 2 previous battles between the righteous and the demons were defeated, they would not fall apart. So, if this deity wins the position of alliance leader, and holds the demon emperor firmly in the palm of his hand through some means, it will be equivalent to the real master of the demonic way, and his status is comparable to that of Chi-Yu in the ancient times. Speaking of this, Baifeng's blood boiled, and his muscles swelled up. Compared with love and love, the improvement of his own strength, to see a higher and wider world, makes him fascinated even more. However, he was immersed in the longing for the future, but the girl in front of him came behind him at some unknown time. "Ah, this. Senior,
Aren't you listening? Bai Feng frowned. Senior is listening. Sen Senior smiled obediently, her eyes bent into crescent moons. Although Senior doesn't quite understand the master's grand plan, Senior does know. Everything the master says will come true, she said. Holding the tea whisk in her snow-white dexterous little hands, she was familiarly stirring the snow ginseng longevity tea in the cup. Did you bring the tea set? Bai Feng was slightly surprised. Okay. Sen Senior held the fragrant spirit tea in both hands, and walked over with a smile. Because the master likes the tea made by Senior very much, it is a long way to go to the Hehuan sect, so the master's mouth will inevitably dry up, so Senior will take it with you. Star. At this moment, even Bai Feng, who has completely turned into a demon lord, felt a burst of warmth in his heart. In this girl's heart, she really pretends to be herself all the time. For her. She didn't quite understand, and she wasn't interested. The big plans she said were sketchy. She just wanted the man she admired the most to be happy, that's all. Master. Try it. Senior feels that her tea art has improved again. The girl smiled and said with a cute face. Under the expectant eyes of the other party. Bai Feng took the teapot, took a sip, and suddenly felt refreshed. Thank you, Star. In this life, I am fortunate to have you by my side. Under a strong emotional impulse in his heart, Bai Feng took the girl into his arms regardless of his status as a master, and confessed affectionately. Lying on Lord Tianshan's lap, Sen Senior blushed with happiness, and kept nodding. Yeah, Senior too. So. Is the tea good? She couldn't help asking again. Bai Feng kissed the girl on the forehead. Very good, this is the sweetest spirit tea I have ever drank in this life. So. Sen Senior's heartbeat accelerated, and he forcibly suppressed the excitement on his face, and said, Master, can I reward Senior a little bit? Ah, this. After working for a long time, it turned out that it was to ask for rewards. Her Yan country map is too long. Bai Feng gritted his teeth. After thinking for a second, the cold and domineering demon lord Qingling sat cross-legged, with his 5 hearts facing upwards, as if he had entered meditation. Ah, Master, is this, avoiding Senior's request? Sen Senior's small mouth was curled down, and her beautiful eyes were full of disappointment. At this moment, a half-gentle, half-commanding male voice came. You should take it yourself. Sen Senior. It is about 10 feet away from the back of the soul-grabbing black dragon chariot of Godfather Kang Ming. A luxurious and spacious flying boat, covering the sky and the sun, was speeding like electricity, and followed closely behind. The interior of the airship. A woman wearing a gorgeous phoenix crown and a long skirt with phoenix patterns, with a noble temperament, is sitting cross-legged. Her beautiful eyes are tightly closed, and 7 colored lights are faintly appearing on her side. After seeing her beautiful appearance and extremely tall stature, even if she was sitting there with a pair of plump legs crossed, she was almost as tall as the female servant next to her, like a beauty who came out of a tribe of giants. However, even with such a tall stature, the proportion of her figure is almost perfect, like a beautiful jade carved by a god. At this moment, the report of the guard driving the car came from outside. Report to the Queen of Yin. The Kangming sect by Qingling saw the chariot of our demon palace. Instead of avoiding it, he raised his position higher than ours. It's simply a big treason. Huh, by Qingling. Chewing on the name, the tall and stunning beauty slowly opened her eyes, the eyes flickering, as if touching a certain memory. Tisk tisk, the last time I saw this little guy was 100 years ago, when I witnessed him breaking into the Tower of Reincarnation alone and proving the way to the Demon Lord. That stubborn and handsome little face is really unforgettable. She muttered to herself, her red lips raised slightly unconsciously. But then again, a month ago, this little guy's memory was exposed by the gangsters.
Presumably Yurong has let go of her hatred. She loves him to death, doesn't she? Forget it. It's rare to come out to the demon palace. As a master, let me help Yurong to test her husband-in-law status. Xiao Qingmei made up her mind to pay attention, cleared her throat, and said. Pass the order. Do not have any disputes with the people of Kangming sect. Stay out of the way for now and let the Black Dragon go first. I, Demon Palace, will give him, the godfather of Kangming, a face. Follow the decree of the Empress Yin. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 96. Chapter 96, 96. Han Jiniang's Secret Garden. Lixia goes home to see Master. Please subscribe. In the middle of the Eastern Land, a vassal of the Hehuan sect, Rutla City. It was already 3 o'clock, and the largest square city in the city was still brightly lit and bustling. In front of the gate, a black dragon chariot landed slowly. A tall and burly handsome man in a black robe led a petite and lovely girl down from the chariot. The man just showed up. The women and young ladies around were immediately attracted, and burst into exclamation. Look! What a handsome man! Ah, I can't take it anymore. Whose man is this? He's really manly. Jaime, hurry up and use the stealing shadow stone to take a sneak shot. Craftsmanship can't be stopped. Hey! I don't want to live anymore. We are brothers women. How can we be tempted by other men? That's right. Brother Jitame is the most perfect man in the world. The guy in front of me is not even qualified as a substitute. Protect the best brother in the world. All other men die. Humph, this group of hateful women, the visitors are not kind. Hearing the frivolous words of the women around her, Sen Xing'er clenched her fists tightly, her eyes were full of murderous anger. Xing'er, we are the ones who came. Mo Junqingling looked into the distance calmly, let's go, don't worry about these lowly people. A giant dragon soaring in the sky will not care about the eyes of ants in the cracks. But, master. Sen Xing'er gritted her teeth lightly, she was so angry that she was about to burst into tears, how dare they talk nonsense about their master? It's unforgivable. Say it. She couldn't restrain the anger in her heart any longer, mobilized her mana, and sacrificed the magic pot. Stupid devil! Come out and work hard. Clean up these shameless women. It seems that the words follow the law. With a muffled sound came from the unknown void. A huge ghost general dressed in black scales came out aggressively. In his hand, he swung the ghost face Yanyu knife violently. Immediately, the noisy women in the front were chopped into dust. As if it never existed. The whole street was completely in panic. Little girl is not easy. She is a ghost cultivator. Run. What are you running for? Go and invite the city lord Tathagata. Bad. Notifying the city lord is useless, you have to notify the city lord's wife. In an instant, all the women scattered like birds and beasts. The overcrowded market suddenly became empty. Tisk tisk, Xing'er, thanks to the innate formless demon body of this deity, your comprehension is improving by leaps and bounds, and the power of this magic forging pot has also been developed to the extreme by you. Baifeng said with emotion. He was very pleased with the fact that the young apprentice was decisive in killing and gradually followed him into the path of cultivation of cannibalism. But at the same time, there is a bit of regret. Shook his head and said. It's just that, if you devour these uncultivated muggles, not only will it not help you improve your cultivation, but it will also affect the purity of the soul in your magic forging pot. It really shouldn't be. If you really want to kill and collect living souls, we will have a lot of opportunities when we arrive at the main altar of the Acacia section. Whoa, Senior doesn't care. Senior's eyes were bloodshot, and she said through gritted teeth, those women dare to covet master's body. They deserve to die. Grass. After hearing this, for some reason, Bai Feng suddenly felt a chill behind his back. That? He tentatively asked, what do you say, Senior Sister Lingyan and Sister Hong Ai? This. Senior blushed a little, and sank into the arms of the master. The little bird whispered softly, Senior thinks that Sister Lingyan and Sister Hong Ai are not outsiders. Oh, you have a reason for that, don't you? Bai Feng rubbed his apprentice's little head. Indeed, that unforgettable triple kill night. If it is said that he loves someone, he is the absolute hero. Then, this harmless little girl in front of her is simply the best director. She was the one who pushed the half-drunk and half-awake Hong Ai and Lingyan onto Huimeng's bed. Then, she demonstrated in person in various ways, and finally when it came to her senior sister Lingyan, this girl even started directly and pushed it outside. What a little juicer witch. Scenes of pictures emerged. Bai Feng only felt that his head was a little big, and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Ah! What did the master call Senior? What witch? Senior seemed to hear something, her eyes widened. Nothing. Bai Feng shook his head. Cluck cluck cluck. The master and apprentice were silent. There was a strange buzzing sound in my ear. Huh? Master, why are there so many chicks on this street? Are they not afraid of being squatted? Senior lowered his head, only to realize that a group of bright red chicks were passing by in a row swaggeringly. Because Rootless City is a vassal of Hehuan section. Bai Feng explained, the people in the city, especially the women, regard Ji Taimei, the patriarch of the carnival, as an idol, so Iwajiwo also regards the chicken as an auspicious holy beast. I see. Senior nodded, half understood, and then remembered something. Master, just now Senior noticed that there are almost no men on the street, and those women are all wearing phoenix coronets and scarves, which is really strange. They are planning to attend the wedding on the same day. Is it? No. Bai Feng shook his head and said, as I said just now, the women in the city regard Ji Taimei as an idol. This time, Hehuan sect is the host to hold a magic conference. Naturally, they will wear phoenix crowns and Xiapi to meet them. The idol of my dreams, I set up a stage for it. But Senior tilted her head, still seemingly puzzled. Just now Senior noticed that many women are not young, and some even have children. Aren't they afraid that their husbands at home will be jealous? Bai Feng said. Of course they're not afraid. They firmly believe that Ji Taimei will pamper them one day, but they don't know that in the eyes of Ji Taimei, who is surrounded by countless beautiful saints, their crooked melons and jujubes are simply unsightly. Forget it, let's not talk about these stupid people. Senior, you can find an interest at random. We will continue our journey early tomorrow morning, and we will arrive at the Hehuan sect's main altar by noon. Oh, good. Senior nodded happily, and the next moment, she remembered something. Wait. Master. She stepped forward with flushed cheeks and held the master's broad palm. After looking around for no one, she put the master's palm on the position of the magic seal. Master, don't you stay in the hotel with your faithful and lovely Senior. A strange touch came from the fingertips. Bai Feng's body trembled slightly as if being electrocuted. This girl's ways are getting wilder and wilder now. This is so on the street. What is this? Public exposed play? No, the upcoming Hehuan sect Demon Deo conference is not only related to my retrieving the other 4 internal organs, but also determines whether I can integrate the power of the Demon Deo and fight to the death with the Middle Earth. There is no room for sloppy. This girl can't be allowed to act recklessly. With this in mind, Bai Feng took up the posture of a master, and said coldly, "Presumptuous, I have told you many times that this trip to the Acacia sect, you must strictly abide by the etiquette of master and apprentice, and you must not have the slightest desire to overstep this." "Master, your senior knows his mistake." He didn't finish his sentence. The girl in front of her knelt down and raised his head slightly, his eyes rolled around, and he looked at himself with a pitiful face. Baifeng instantly felt that his aura was not that strong anymore. Damn it, KFC has a strong woman like Hongyi and you wrong. It's being controlled by the girl to death. Baifeng shook his head in his heart, and said, "Forget it, let me tell you, the reason why I chose to stay in the city overnight is to find someone." Along the way, she felt that the master was hiding something from her, and now she finally grasped the point. Sensing blurted out, "Who is it?" "A woman." Baifeng looked into the distance with deep eyes. 100 years ago, this rootless city was where the Hehuan sect's main altar was located. She has left too many memories here, so she must be here. He just finished speaking. An angry male voice came from behind. "Bai Qingling. Where did you hide my wife?" This voice is the uncle of the suzerain in red. "Master Shura." Sensing was shocked, and quickly grabbed the magic forging pot, protecting the master behind her. Baifeng turned around with a leisurely expression. Looking at the jade-faced demon sword immortal with a playful expression, the fierce and green-faced jade demon sword immortal. "Hey, isn't this Palace Master Ren? Why, your wife is missing." "Humph. Bai Qingling. Stop pretending to be confused." Ren Qinfan led a few direct disciples, came to the side of this junior demon venerable aggressively, and said angrily, "Our flying boat in the Azura Hall could have reached the main altar of the Hehuan sect in one go, but halfway through, my wife also asked to rest in this rootless city for one night. Although I feel strange, but out of respect for my wife, I still agreed. I didn't expect." Not long after entering the city, Madame disappeared. I notified the Tathagata city lord of the city and asked him to help search the whole city, but I still haven't found it. Now I met you here again. This can't be a coincidence." Speaking of this, Ren Qinfan pressed the magic sword in his hand, and asked with blood-red eyes, "Bai Qingling. Tell the truth. Where did you hide my wife? I can't even reach this deity." Facing the Lord Shure, who looked like an angry lion, Baifeng had a relaxed expression on his face. "Hall Master Ren's words are strange. Your wife is gone, you don't continue to look for it, but you come to the deity to question. What kind of reason is that? Is Jinyang the wife of Shure Hall, or my wife Bai Qingling?" You." Ren Qinfan was momentarily at a loss for words, her cheeks flushed red. After a while, he exploded with momentum, and his voice was like thunder, "Bai Qingling. When I created the Tower of Reincarnation with one sword, and proved the Demon Lord, you were still wearing crotch pants. You don't really think that a veteran demon who has participated in 2 battles between righteous and demons and survived Mu Zinlan's hand without a single injury is really afraid of you, a yellow-haired boy. You want to test the sharpness of my sword today." At the end, there was a choke. The blood demon sword in his hand suddenly came out of its sheath. The terrifying blood-colored sword energy filled the void of hundreds of feet, connecting the sky and the earth, and dyed the starry sky with a layer of blood. No lady around. He is the jade-faced demon sword immortal, and today he wants to completely regain his masculinity. Oh my god, I didn't expect that the useless uncle, Sister Hong Ai, would have such strength. Sensing was shocked, and hurriedly said to the senior disciple of the Azura Hall beside him, "Senior brother Nizheng. Hurry up and persuade your master. He doesn't really think that he can compete with Godfather Kangming, who killed the Taoist tiger with a snap of his fingers. Call it." Then Nizheng weighed for a second, stepped forward and hugged Master. "Sinister. Do you think it's wrong?" Rankin Fan roared angrily. Master! My wife has said it. Our attendance this time represents the face of the Kangming sect, and we should go hand in hand with Yuluo Palace. Internal strife is not appropriate. Naizhen tried hard to persuade him. Humph. Get out. Don't use your mistress to oppress me. With a wave of his arm, Rankin Fan walked towards the burly phantom who was half a head taller than himself, Bai Qingling. Ultimatum. Tell me the whereabouts of my wife quickly. Otherwise. What else? Huh. A sneer appeared at the corner of Bai Feng's mouth. The next moment, his expression was suddenly cold, his handsome eyes burst out with thunder, and his whole person's aura was like a god of death. Rankin Fan. If you dare to take a step forward, among the blood kitchen, there will be mountains of corpses and seas of blood, and you will be one. Hear this loud drink. Rankin Fan's eyes froze for a moment, and then, the anger on his face subsided a little. Instinctively took 2 steps back. Bai Qingling me. Humph, the lord of the palace will not interfere with you. You just need to inform me of my wife's whereabouts. This matter will be over. He puffed out his chest, trying to look imposing. The deity is still those 3 words I don't know. Hall Master Ren, if you want to die today, please do it yourself. After Bai Feng finished speaking expressionlessly, he took his disciple's hand and turned around to leave. Step. 2 steps. 3 steps. 10 steps. After making sure that the green sword fairy behind him did not come after him, Bai Feng finally let out a long sigh of relief. Quicken your pace and walk to another corner and alley. He took Xing'er into his arms and flew into the distance. Yes. He just had a strong feeling. Without Han Jiniang suppressing her. This self-indulgent Azura Palace master, I am afraid that he will explode the full strength of the god transformation expert tonight, and he will fight to the death with him, old demon Bai. Even with his current mana in the nascent soul realm and several immortal transformation gus with him, he can guarantee that he will escape completely. But there is a little star beside him. He absolutely cannot tolerate the slightest harm to this girl. Put Xing'er in place first, and then go to Mrs. Ren. Jin Niang's secret garden. I'm afraid she and I are the only 2 people in this world who know. Oh. Seeing the master and apprentice of Uluodian, under his threat, they left without any scruples. The jade-faced demon sword immortal sat down on the ground, crying loudly. The frustration in my heart has reached the extreme of my life. It turns out that I am such a waste, not because of Madame's suppression. I'm Rankin Fan. Damn, I was born a waste. Bai Qingling. My wife must have been hidden by you. Forget it. This is the end of the matter. You must be gentle with my wife. Otherwise, I won't be able to forgive you. Zongtu, Jinwuji Unzone, Tiandang Peak. In front of a big waterfall exuding a strong aura. A woman with a glamorous appearance, wearing a black tights, and a tall ponytail with a bumpy figure, stood with her hands behind her back. Behind her stood a handsome young man of about 16 or 17 who was slightly shorter in stature. Tell me, Your Highness, come to see me early in the morning, what's the matter? Feng Lixu said coldly, but before the Third Highness speaks, I have to remind you that this is the last time I speak to you so politely. From now on, if there is nothing else, please leave me, I'm farther away. Sister Lixu. Lin Mo blushed with a handsome face, and said in a voice like a mosquito, My Highness, I have come to say goodbye to you. Feng Lixu was slightly taken aback, and asked curiously, Are you going back to the palace? No. Lin Mo said, This matter should not be mentioned to anyone, but in my heart, Sister Lixu is not an outsider. He searched around and found no one around, and said,
I'll tell you, Sister Lixu, I'm leaving Zongtu. Leaving Middle-earth? Where are you going? Fen Lixu became even more curious. Go to Sister Lixu's hometown, Dongtu Lin Mo said. Nonsense. A trace of panic flashed across Fen Lixu's pretty face. She gritted her teeth and said, "Who told you that I'm from the east?" Lin Mo was also panicked, his little face was pale, he didn't dare to look directly into the eyes of the goddess sister, and lowered his head and said, "Sister Lixu, calm down. It's just that everyone spreads it in private." Humph. Is it true if you follow what others say? Fen Lixu snorted coldly, and said again, "Forget it, don't mention this, what are you going to Dongtu for?" "Go and kill someone," Lin Mo said resolutely with a small face. "Oh? Kill who?" "Bai Qingling." This. Fen Lixu's tender body was shocked, she turned around, looked at the determined young man in front of her with a surprised face, and said coldly, "You are looking for your own death. The Juyi burning heaven art that caused the world to change color that day, you saw it, why do you fight against Bai Qingling?" "No, Sister Lixu underestimated me." Lin Mo shook his head, and said, "Before, I also felt that the gap between my strength and Bai Qingling's strength was like a world, but now. Tell Sister Lixu the truth. 3 days ago, Mu Sheng personally received me. Her old man told me. Following the death of a certain son of false luck, the luck of heaven has shifted, and I, Lin Mo. He is the son of destiny whom everyone expects." At the end, the boy's eyes were piercing, and his handsome and quiet face revealed the domineering aura of a peerless emperor. "Mu Sheng really told you so?" Fen Lixu suddenly became interested. "Yes." Lin Mo said without hesitation, "And I can also tell Sister Lixu that Mu Sheng and the heads of the 4 righteous paths have already started to act. And the Demon Dao Alliance conference that will take place in the east will be the best opportunity to launch the third holy war of slaughtering demons. For this glorious and sacred millennium plan, my 9th younger sister Xian has already gone to the east, and my elder brother will soon fight side by side with her. So, Sister Lixu, would you like to go to Dongtu with me?" When the last sentence was spoken, the domineering aura on His Highness's face dissipated, and a blushing blushed instead. Fen Lixu was about to refuse when she suddenly thought of something. "Is this an order from my suzerain?" "No." Lin Mo said, "This is a joint decision made by the master of the Jinwu sword sect, true Lord Taiwu, and Sister Lixu's master Suiwu sword immortal." "I see." Fen Lixu looked at the young man in front of him coldly, stared at him for a few seconds, and asked, "It's you who asked the suzerain and my master, right?" "This." Lin Mo lowered his head, not daring to answer. "Explain." "That's right. It's the 2 elders I asked for. With Mu Sheng's face, they will naturally not refuse." Lin Mo also gritted his teeth, and said, "So, Sister Lixu is willing to fight side by side with me, beheading that old white devil's head, and making the first contribution to the righteous way of China for me." Fen Lixu didn't reply. Instead, she turned around and slowly closed her beautiful eyes. This moment. In her mind, the details of living in Yuluo Palace when she was a child appeared again. Lingyan, seeing her, the majestic Yuluo Palace, that man, and his terrifying blood chef. Everything. Still yesterday, clear and palpable. Forget it, it's destiny. It's time for the eldest disciple of Yuluo Palace to return to her real school, imitate her master, and do something earth-shattering. Ringtone, seeing her. Senior sister loves you very much, but you broke the vow between us sisters, and threw yourself into the arms of that man without hesitation. Don't worry about the ruthless senior sister. After all, that man once said, "Senior sister, I am the disciple who most resembles him." Muttering in my heart. The number 1 young Tianjiao in Dongtu, the first disciple of Yuluo Palace,
bit his lips tightly, and made the final decision in his heart. In this chapter, the content of the interaction with Han Jiniang was cut off and put in the next chapter, otherwise there would be too many sensitive words and it would be impossible to pass. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Ji Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 97. Rutla City, City Lord Palace, and Conference Hall. An obese woman in a phoenix crown and zyopii, with a fat waist and a figure like a giant bucket, sat upright on the throne of the city lord. Beside her, surrounded by a group of similarly shaped women who also wore phoenix coronets and zyopii. Come on. Bring up those craftsmen who were spying on our sisters. The woman on the throne, with a twitch of fat on her cheeks, said coldly. Just as she finished speaking, a weak male voice sounded. Madam, please wait a moment. The obese woman frowned slightly, and looked in the direction of the voice with a displeased face. I saw a middle-aged man wearing a brocade robe, as thin as dry wood, and with a mustache, walking over with the support of several guards. Meet the Tathagata city lord. Before the fat woman could speak, the sisters beside her bowed down to the man. Humph. You are all my wife's sisters, little fairies in the sky. Why do you worship these mundane stinky men? The fat woman finished speaking coldly, and looked at the middle-aged man with sharp eyes. Jorula, what's the matter, tell me. My wife. The man called Jorula said with a bitter expression, my husband is also the lord of this Rutla city, and I'm afraid I'll have to do it myself, otherwise. Otherwise what do you do? The fat woman's eyes suddenly turned cold. Jorula. Don't forget, you are the city lord, and it's my elder brother Ji and my mother, who is the suzerain of Huangzai sect, who rewarded you. You. What qualifications do you have to point in front of my concubine? Ma'am, you. Jorula wanted to say something, but was finally shocked by his wife's fierce tiger-like gaze. He died down, and retreated to the side with a dejected expression. Seeing the city lord subdued in front of the eldest sister, the little fairies around her were bossing around one after another. Not for a while. Under the escort of a group of guards. A dozen or so craftsmen-like men with white scarves on their heads and coarse linen clothes were escorted to the center of the hall. Seeing the ferocious and fat face of the mayor's wife, the group of craftsmen trembled like quails waiting to be slaughtered. The lady of the city lord, Shweruyi, with a stern face, asked in a rough voice, do you know what crime you have committed? Hearing this shout, all the craftsmen turned pale and begged for mercy. Ma'am. I have been an honest and responsible spirit craftsman all my life, and this time, at the invitation of the city lord, I went to repair the screen wall outside the city lord's palace. I dare not do anything wrong. Yes. Madam, please check. My lord. My lord, please say something. Humph. How dare you speak hard? Shweruyi, the wife of the city lord, took out a few stones that were as smooth as a mirror from her bosom, and smashed them on the ground. These picture stones are left by you. Yes. One of the leading craftsmen panicked. As we all know, when repairing some precious artifacts, spirit craftsmen will take out phonograph stones and record the whole process. In this way, if there is any accident, both parties will have a voice during the mediation. The context can be followed. He had just finished speaking. The city lord Jorula on the side nodded like a pounding garlic. Yes. Ma'am, you can inquire about it. That's true. Jorula, who told you to fart? Shweruyi turned her nostrils to the sky, and said in a vicious voice, in the past few days, these good sisters of mine have all lived in the palace of the lord of the city. According to my mother, these people must be obsessed with sex and want to secretly take pictures of our sisters with the photo stone. This. Jorula glanced at all the beauties, and couldn't help swallowing. Isn't that so? Yes, yes. Ma'am. No way. Really no way.
The craftsmen on the side also deeply agree. You, bold. What do you mean it's impossible? Shweruyi, the wife of the city lord, bounced off the throne like a ball. Joe Roulette. You blind bastard. Are you questioning the beauty of my mother and my sisters? You know. Even Brother G, as the suzerain of the last sect, treats us so tenderly. This is her speech. The surrounding sisters also echoed. Have you had enough trouble? At this moment, a violent male voice resounded through the hall. Above the main hall, there was a dead silence. After a long time, everyone looked at it one after another. I saw that Joe Roulette, the always cowardly city lord, suddenly increased his momentum, straightened his barren chest like ribs, and his face was majestic. Joe Roulette, you! How dare you yell at me? The wife of the city lord, Shweruyi, was furious, and then cried out loudly, Joe Roulette! If you don't kneel down and apologize to my wife and sisters today, I'm going to sue my mother. Go. Joe Roulette also went all out. Shweruyi. I only tell you one thing. Just as Sect Master G expected, Han Jiniang and Renkin Fan stopped in Rutla City on the way. What? Shweruyi's expression became a little panicked. That Han Jiniang is wrong, that Yun Jin'er, is it really here? Certainly. Joe Roulette said, when Mrs. Ren was the candidate saint of the Hehuan sect, you, Shweruyi, trained her personally. Presumably, she will repay your kindness to her. Hearing this, Shweruyi's chubby face trembled violently, sweat pouring down like rain. No, no. We have to follow Brother G's instructions and take this opportunity to get rid of these two people. Hey, do you still remember Sect Master G's instructions? Joe Roulette snorted coldly. Then do you think you can get things done if you don't rely on your husband? It won't work. Shweruyi gritted her teeth and said, forget it, husband, what do you want to do? Joe Roulette narrowed his eyes and said, these two are one of the best masters in the Kangming sect, their cultivation base is at least starting to transform into a god, especially that Renkin Fan is a well-known old demon master, so we can't fight hard, can only be outsmarted. After finishing speaking, he kicked out all the good sisters beside his wife one by one. Only then did she get close to Madame's ear and whispered a few words in a low voice. When Shweruyi heard the last word, her expression finally eased a lot. Tisk tisk, Joe Roulette, you are quite capable, but I still have a doubt. Shweruyi squinted her eyes and said, this time, the Demon Dao conference, Bai Qingling, who is in full swing, will attend together with Renkin Fan and his wife. What if he also entered the city? How should you deal with it? No way. Joe Roulette sneered and said, with Bai Qingling's character, he will definitely go straight to the destination, and it is absolutely impossible to stop halfway. Sect Master G thinks so too. Not bad. Shweruyi smiled, raised a big fat hand, and pulled the skinny husband into his arms, winking and saying, Joe Roulette, if you really do this, don't wait for Brother G to reward you, Mrs. Ben, I will give you a gentle home for 3 days and 3 nights. However, during this period, I must wear the phoenix coronet and Xiapi that Brother G gave me. No. Madam. This reward is worthless. Joe Roulette's liver and gallbladder were torn apart, his thighs trembled, and the aura of the city lord that he had managed to accumulate before was swept away. At the same time, to the north of the eastern central territory, in the Yunyang Mountains, is the main altar of the Hehuan sect. His Royal Highness. There is good news. A slender, handsome gray-haired man broke into the main hall of the underground palace, and towards the embroidery bed in front, said ecstatically. After he finished speaking. For a long time. No response. Because there is a curtain that can block the soul. He could only glimpse it vaguely. Behind the curtain, the girl's indistinct figure was trembling non-stop, as if suffering from madness. Your Highness, are you asleep and having a dream? He was thinking about it. Snapped. Something rolled down from the edge of the embroidery bed. Immediately afterwards, a pair of snow-white hands quickly reached out and picked up the thing back. However, he, Ji-Taimei, has supernatural eyesight, and with just a glimpse, he can see the true appearance of the thing clearly. It was a carefully framed ink portrait. And the person in the painting, whether it's clothing or facial features, they are very similar to that old man, the former Qingling demon lord, and now the godfather of Kangming. Oh, it's Sect Master Ji. Behind the curtain, there was a girl's voice that was neither salty nor dull. I have just come to the east, and the climate is not acceptable. Just now some cold evils have invaded, and my whole body is freezing. I hope Sect Master Ji will not laugh at you. How dare you dare? Ji-Taimei laughed dryly, didn't ask any more questions, and went straight to the point. As Suzy Rain guessed, Han Jinyang is wrong. Yun Jin'er, unable to let go of the demons in her heart, stays in Rootless City. That's right, but how do you plan to deal with her? If you really want to kill the couple, aren't you afraid of arousing the vigilance of the other 6 demon sects? The Chuju princess said. Your Royal Highness, please listen to my Suzy Rain, murder and murder. Ji-Taimei smiled charmingly, and said, after we get rid of Han Jinyang and Ren Qinfan, we will blame this matter on Bai Qingling. Anyway, no one knows that the couple have been to Rootless City. You know, everyone in the world knows that Bai Qingling will get revenge, and he has not dealt with the master of the Shura Palace. He has confronted each other many times in public. Therefore, no one will doubt this conclusion. It also includes the headquarters of the Kangming sect. When the Demon Dao conference officially starts and Bai Qingling arrives at the Hehuan General Altar, I will throw the corpses of the Shura Palace couple and force Bai Qingling to confess his guilt, and call on the heads of the 6 major demon sects to attack and kill this villain. You know, although my demon way doesn't stick to etiquette and kills with my heart, but I hate things that hurt my fellow disciples. At that time, under the encirclement and suppression of the entire Eastern Land Masters, Rao Bai Qingling, with a strong demon body, will not escape death. Tisk, what a vicious trick, it's really you, Ji-Taimei. There was a burst of praise from the curtain. Then, a white-haired girl wearing a royal golden phoenix skirt walked out gracefully with long bare legs. However, Sect Master Ji, have you ever thought that when Bai Qingling escaped from Mu Sheng's hands, how can you be sure that he won't escape from his shell again? He can't escape. Ji-Taimei sneered and said, no one understands this old friend's methods better than me. My Suzy Rain has already arranged 10,000 goo-eating birds at the venue. When necessary, they will be released together. His molting cicada, there is no chance to refine and activate. Well, in this case, this plan is usable. Lin Xianxian was thoughtful, pondered for 2 seconds, and said with a smile, tisk tisk, Sect Master Ji, no wonder my master trusts you so much. According to this palace, the 7 masters of the demon sect, including the one who monopolizes the power of Kangming Bai Qingling, they are all chickens and dogs. And you, Sect Master Ji, you are the real peerless demon emperor. Hearing this little beauty's praise, Ji-Taimei's heart was in full bloom, and she was a little flustered for a while, and blurted out, hey, are you serious, Brother Ji? Huh? What did Sect Master Ji say? Lin Xianxian frowned slightly, her tone suddenly turned cold. No, nothing. The princess is ridiculous. Ji Muwen dare not be that. Ji-Taimei hurriedly bowed. Ji only hopes that after Mu Sheng leads the upright warriors to sweep away the vicious and brutal demon dregs, Yun Ji will be the lord of the Eastern Land and serve Misty Cloud Palace forever. Don't worry, Master promises you, and you will definitely do it. Lin Xianxian smiled playfully. In my heart, I feel sad for the other party's stupidity. You know, her master,
who has lived for 6,000 years and has unfathomable cultivation, is jealous of demons, and her long-cherished wish in her life is to obliterate all demons in the world, and only the righteous way will prosper. And at present, it's just a temporary use of this cunning acacia suzerain. In other words, when Zongtu Gendao invaded Dongtu, the first head to sacrifice the flag was the sect Master Ji. By the way, sect Master Ji, that by Qingling. Lin Xianxian suddenly thought of something, her cheeks flushed slightly, and she hesitated to speak. Is this person really not traveling with Ren Qinfan and his wife? Your Highness, don't worry. That's the same sentence. No one understands Bai Qingling better than me. Ji Taimei patted her chest and said, this person is withdrawn, arrogant and will never condescend to be with a coward like Ren Qinfan. Very well, then. Lin Xianxian couldn't help but asked again, in the whole plan, is it really necessary for me to dedicate myself to that Bai Qingling? Ji Taimei took a good look at her words and said quickly, Your Highness, don't be nervous. If I guessed correctly, the reason why Mu Sheng asked Her Highness to cough and dedicate himself to Bai Qingling is to let the princess open the secret of the Cloud Palace when the consummation comes. The black hole is devoured by the black hole, absorbing and weakening Bai Qingling's innate demonic energy, so that he cannot use his natal Kung Fu Heavenly Demon Transformation Dragon Sutra, and escapes as a dragon, right? Oh, you really understand Bai Qingling. When this topic was mentioned, Lin Xiangxian's cheeks were hot, and she turned her head once more. You are right, but judging from your tone just now, is there any other solution? Of course there is. Ji Taimei said flatteringly, others don't know this method, but I got a glimpse of it from Master Bai Qingling, the evil medicine master. Oh? What? Lin Xianxian asked hastily. Ji Taimei said with a sullen face, there is another way to decipher Bai Qingling's heavenly demon transformation dragon scripture, which is to gain his trust, stick close to his body, and then take advantage of his unpreparedness. Facing the extreme sun of his body, use the magic blade, and stab it hard. Ah, this. Lin Xianxian was shocked. Of course she knew where Ji Taimei was talking about. But this is also. She wanted to say something, but swallowed it back. Your Highness, don't hesitate. If you use this second solution, you don't have to sacrifice the most precious chastity of a girl. Ji Taimei smiled flatteringly. Ah! Are you really not forced to make such a sacrifice according to Master's will? The girl asked complicatedly. Of course. Your Royal Highness. This suzerain never speaks nonsense. Ji Taimei nodded happily. In his opinion, this girl with a prominent background has been worrying about nothing more than her fame. If I helped her this time, in the future, her genius emperor brother, Master Daoist, will definitely not treat me badly. However, what he never expected was that the 9 princesses of Dechu in front of her, her cheeks flushed, said, hey, listen, I think this method is too dangerous, and there are many possibilities of failure. For example, ahem, in short, what I mean is dash. I don't go to hell, whoever goes to hell. I, Lin Qianqian, am willing to feed demons with my body for the sake of the common people. Brother Chen, he, under the 9 springs, will definitely forgive me. I will definitely. Ji Taimei. In the middle of the night, the moonlight is bleak. On the southern outskirts of Rutla city, there is a mysterious Daowen surrounded by water. A tall, handsome, and stern man in black robe flew across the sky above a peach forest with his hands behind his back. His handsome eyes were like lightning, and he kept looking down, as if he was searching for something strange. According to the plot of the game in the previous life, before entering the main altar of the Hehuan sect, the Demon Dao Conference, the Xiao Chen played by the player has 2 travel routes. And if you want to attack Hanjiniang, you have to stay in Rutla city and find Hanjiniang in the secret place of Daowen, triggering a side storyline. And my memory is very deep, Han Jiniang is in the depths of this withered peach forest, feeling sad. Where are people? Could it be that because I disturbed the plot line, there was some kind of butterfly effect? Jin Niang is not here. Bai Feng was in doubt. Suddenly, I noticed something. His sword eyebrows sank suddenly, and he shouted coldly, "Who?" He just had a thought. Something soft and sticky was touched on the back. Then, a pair of objects exuding raging flames wrapped around his waist from behind. This thing is Phoenix Claw. Is that you? Jin Niang. Bai Feng instantly realized something. Sure enough, the next moment, the huge miraculous phoenix claws that hugged him tightly gradually faded away and transformed into a pair of snow-white and pure jade hands. "Bad man, are you here to find me?" Han Jiniang pressed close to the man's waist. Her tone was surprised, but also filled with resentment. "Hey, I think so. Apart from you, Ren Qinfan is not worthy to know about this place." She sighed softly, looking even more sad. "Huh? Jiniang, why are you crying?" Hearing the choking in the other party's tone, Bai Feng frowned slightly, and then used the fire cloud Ju in the Juyi burning heaven Ju, calling out a cloud of fire, wrapping the two people's figures, from the high altitude, in an instant land on the ground. "Don't ask me," the concubine will not answer. Han Jiniang lowered her head, stepped back a few steps, and said softly. At this time, she was like a girl who was wronged and cried to her lover. She doesn't look like the majestic Mrs. Shura palace in the past. Bai Feng didn't ask any more questions, but slowly came to the beauty's side. At this moment, even though the night wind was howling, her hair was messed up, covering part of her beautiful face. But still vaguely able to catch a glimpse of those wet red phoenix eyes. However, such a depressed and chaotic state not only did not damage the beauty of this great beauty. On the contrary, it makes it look like it has a sense of desolation and beauty. In an instant, Bai Feng couldn't hold back the love and pity in his heart anymore. Gritting her teeth, she stepped forward and hugged Mrs. Ren tightly into her arms. "Bai Qingling you." Han Jiniang bit her lip, trying to struggle. But I found that at this moment, I was inexplicably longing to enjoy this warm and safe embrace. "Forget it, Yun Jin'er, can't beat you, a bad man." In front of this strange man who is so distant and has a delicate relationship, Han Jiniang realizes that she can't pretend at all. In an instant, a teardrop slowly fell down her beautiful and smooth cheek. "Bai Qingling, you have no idea what your rejection back then meant to a 16-year-old girl who admired you wholeheartedly and regarded you as a life-saving god. Me. I hate you so much." She was like a bird clinging to a man, nestling in the man's arms, and she said plaintively, tears streaming down her face. "Speaking of hate." Unexpectedly, reckless, he hugged, and bit the arm of this terrifying demon king fiercely. After a while, she finally calmed down and let go. "Bai Qingling, why didn't you respond?" Asking weakly, she raised her head and looked at the man. However, he saw this godfather Kangming, who was master of the demonic way, looking at him tenderly, without saying a word. "You're angry, aren't you?" Han Jiniang's voice was a little anxious, her red lips curled slightly, her expression was a bit distressed. "Did my concubine hurt you?" Bai Feng shook his head, and then said softly, "I said before, that I was sorry for you that time, and for this, madam should blame me no matter what. In the past, Jitame pulled out your group of saintesses and let the deity choose, but the deity refused on the spot. However, you Yun Jin'er did not give up. You swear on your life that you will give me a gift that will make me change my mind." Out of some curiosity, the deity agreed. "So, you brought this deity to your secret garden, which is the secret land of Daowen. Whenever you are bullied by Xueruyi, the chief candidate of the Hehuan sect, you will come here to seek comfort and cheer up. After 2 years, you even planted a colorful peach forest on this deserted island with the technique of spiritual planting. From then on, this place has become the most precious place in your heart, Yunjinur, a sacred place that cannot be invaded by outsiders. However, that day. But you brought the deity you met for the first time here, and presented this peach forest to the deity. At the same time, I also unreservedly dedicated the deepest admiration in your heart. Yes, all of this. This deity is very clear. Memories of the past kept flashing in his mind. While Bai Feng was talking, his heart was also very distressed, for this stubborn and infatuated woman who dared to love and hate, in front of him. At this moment, there is no longer any coquettish thoughts. It has nothing to do with the infusion of great love. Out of the most instinctive feelings in my heart. He gently held the waist of the big beauty with both hands. Feel her heartbeat, and towards her beautiful face blushing with shame, getting closer and closer, closer and closer. Finally. Many years have passed. Revisit the old place. He finally fulfilled his long-cherished wish. To 16-year-old Yoon Jin-er, a belated, loving first kiss. You. Han Jinyoung blushed, her phoenix eyes widened, as if in a daze, she stared at the man in a daze. As Madame saw, this is Mo Junqingling's real answer to Yoon Jin-er, who was 16 years old at that time. I'm just sorry, it's really late, because at that time. He didn't finish his sentence. Han Jinyoung in front of her eyes was already crying into tears. She grabbed his skirt and slapped his chest continuously with her powder fist. Whoa! A bad man is a bad man. Now tell me, so what? You know it's too late. Also, don't say you are here to train me. Even if I, Han Jinyoung, would like to believe you, the fact is that you made me, who thought I had a chance, fall back into the dark den of Acacia, didn't you? Perhaps because she was tired from crying, Han Jinyoung stopped beating, took off her high-heeled jade shoes, and staggered to a few withered peach trees with a pair of black silk bare legs. Lord Demon Venerable. Look. Things are different and people are different. Just like this ruined peach forest, which will never return to its former prosperity, your belated apology is meaningless. Isn't it? In the end. Looking at the peach tree I planted by myself in the past, it is withered and old, with curly branches and decayed. Under the touch of emotion, as soon as her body softened, she was about to collapse to the ground. This moment. But she was lifted up from behind by a pair of big hands, wrapping her around her waist and hugging her. Bai Qingling, let me go. Today, I simply made my words clear. Absolutely not. I can't let you, a bad man, touch me again. As for the matter of the Zaixing Tower that day, you and I should forget about it. With tears in her beautiful eyes, she finished speaking sadly. It is necessary to stimulate the movement and break away from the man's control. At this time, a gentle yet powerful male voice resounded in my ears. Madam, this peach forest will always bloom for you, just like your beauty reflected in the eyes of this deity at this moment. You. After hearing these love words, Han Jinyoung's heart beat wildly. It was also at this moment that the man gently put her down. Then, the tall and burly spectre walked slowly under several peach trees. Spreading out his slender and pale fingers, bunches of golden streamer, like golden sand, sprinkled evenly from the palm, like living things, quickly penetrated into the soil at the root of the peach tree. Rustle. There was a faint sound of vigorous growth in the air. Next. Under the incomparably shocking gaze of this lady of Shura Palace, the surrounding peach trees grew rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the crooked branches became straight. In a short while, lush and bright peach blossoms slowly appeared. In an instant, as if the god of spring issued an edict, countless peach blossoms bloomed one after another, and the rich fragrance of flowers came to the nostrils, instantly interweaving a pink dreamy ocean. Witness this amazing scene. Like a young girl, Han Jinyoung covered her mouth in surprise, her eyes flickered, and in an instant, countless emotions rushed into her heart. She seemed to go back to that day, Meng Xiaoqing Chen, when she first met this man. In an instant, she bent down, let go of all her pride, hugged her knees and cried bitterly. Under the vision blurred by tears. In a sea of pink flowers. A majestic and handsome man like a god smiled at her elegantly and said softly. The flower path has never been swept by guests, but the peach blossoms are now blooming for you. For a long time. He stared at the man obsessively for a long time. Han Jinyoung gradually realized one thing. From this moment on, a ray of light came in, completely dispelling the haze of my girlhood. In an instant, Mrs. Ren let go of all her restraint, crossed a sea of flowers, and walked towards the man she regarded as her first lover. Bai Qingling. Concubine, I want you. Right now. Ding. Congratulations to the host. The infusion of great love is successful. You have obtained 100,000 points. Current, 200,000 points. Bai Feng, ==. The snow leopard is resurrected with full blood. The state is bursting. 8,000 words were updated overnight. Sleep for a while and immediately complete the extra battle of the 3 kills in chapter 92. There is a high probability that it will be completed within today. Wrote a third of it already. Ask for a monthly ticket and ask for a custom order. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 98. Chapter 98. The full moon is perfect. Under the peach tree. The wife of Shura Hall and the godfather of Yuluo Hall have completely lifted all the shackles and shackles. Hugging each other tightly, telling the love that has been suppressed for a long time. After a thick and lingering kiss. Seeing that the time was almost up, Bai Feng put one arm around Mrs. Ren's slender waist, and put the other hand on her round and plump black silk buttocks. Ma'am, are you ready? Although from the passionate kiss just now, he can completely feel the deep affection in the other party's heart. But out of politeness, he decided to seek the other party's opinion first. Cao thief can do it. But never violate the will of women. Ah! At this moment, Han Jinyoung has Xiaofei's cheeks, her mind is blank, and her pair of phoenix eyes are turning to her lover next to her in a daze. Madam should know what the deity wants to ask, and now, you and I don't have to hide it anymore. Bai Feng accentuated his tone, and assumed the attitude of a demon king. Seeing that Han Jinyoung didn't speak for a long time, he even bit her fleshy and seductive earlobe lightly. Ah, itch. Han Jinyoung closed her beautiful eyes slightly, and the color in her eyes became even more blurred. As if by some instinctive tendency, fell into a certain degenerate state. Her 2 beautiful legs wrapped in black silk were slightly bent, rubbing them constantly. Under the violent shaking, the emerald crystal jade high-heeled shoe slipped quietly, and a pair of beautiful black silk feet suddenly appeared. Bai Feng looked down at every move and every slight expression of this beautiful black silk wife. I just feel a bit hot in the head. He knew in his heart that there was nothing to lose, so he continued to urge. Although I know Madam's answer in my heart, I still want Madam to say it in person. Humph, bad man. Han Jinyoung's cheeks were on fire, and she said in a voice like a mosquito, do you still remember the first time I met you in the Zaixing Tower, and the last words I said to you? Oh. Bai Feng thought for a while and said with a wry smile, remember, at that time Madam asked me to kiss your feet, otherwise, I wouldn't want to entrust it to me. Actually, I didn't intend to do this, but I really didn't think about it at the time. Han Jinyoung pouted her red lips, and said coquettishly. After all, counting the first meeting when we were young, you and I only met twice at that time. If I entrust myself to you like this, wouldn't it prove that I, Han Jiniang, are a good person? It's okay, it's all over. Let's talk about now. Bai Feng waved his hands gracefully, and once again supported Mrs. Ren's slender waist. You said just now that you want this deity, although such words are offensive, but you have successfully attracted the attention of the deity. After all, you are the only woman who dares to speak to this deity like that. Cut, don't do this. Han Jiniang turned her head aside and covered her blushing pretty face. Didn't you kiss my concubine's feet before we set off on this trip? Ah, yes. Bai Feng recalled it for a while and nodded. So, I was in the Zaixing building. Didn't you fulfill the conditions that I put forward that time? So what? Bai Feng asked knowingly. Madam, why don't you speak clearly? You Bai Qingling. You asked the question knowingly. Like a little girl, Han Jiniang let out a coquettish hum, and bit the arm of the bad man next to her again. Bai Feng remained motionless the whole time. Maintaining a gentle smile, he happily and contentedly admired the shyness of this beautiful wife. Forget it. My concubine, will pamper you this time. Perhaps because she was extremely ashamed, Han Jiniang covered her cheeks, bent her tall body, and said softly, Master Bai, my concubine is willing. Please take it yourself. Receive. Hearing this, the magic radiance in Bai Feng's eyes rose, and the strong muscles all over his body swelled up. If Ren Qinfan and that tortoise were here, hearing his wife say such things to a junior Mojun, he might die in shock. Thinking of this, Bai Feng's head suddenly felt a little swollen, with blue veins curled up in circles. Madam, I'm sorry, I wonder if the temperature in this secret realm is too hot, and this deity is a little angry. Bai Feng suddenly held down Mrs. Ren. Her snow-white and straight shoulders resembled the beautiful shoulders of a supermodel in her previous life. What are you talking about? Han Jiniang's beautiful eyes widened with astonishment, as if she didn't understand what she meant. The next half an hour, the two chatted to ease the atmosphere of the scene. Cough 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 cough. With a violent cough, Han Jiniang slowly collapsed to the ground. Ma'am, my anger seems to have dissipated. Bai Feng knelt down gently, took out the silk, and helped Mrs. Ren wipe her beautiful cheeks as if she were treating fine porcelain. Hey, ma'am, the makeup is all gone. He said distressedly, with pure and sweet love in his heart. Forget it, the time flow in this Daowen secret realm is much slower than the outside world, in order not to delay important events. It's also time to enter the world of you and this deity. After finishing speaking, he hugged Han Jiniang by the waist with one hand. With the other hand, he took out the artifact with ease. Dream of immortal bed. Yes. Destined to conquer the universe in the future, the immortal supreme demon Dao can never be a love brain. Today, he is going to lie down and improve his cultivation. Right now, Xing'er's ghost-controlling spirit body and the red-clothed Suan Jingming jade body already exist. The only difference is Han Jiniang, the reincarnated physique of the Divine Phoenix Empress. Undead Divine Phoenix body. Bring it you. Thinking that the three major protective physiques will be assembled soon, and the strongest physical body in history will be cast. Bai Feng's eyes were blazing, and his demonic blood was boiling. My lady. Are you in there, lady? At this moment, an eager male voice came from outside. Ren Qinfan? Bai Feng's heart sank, and he suddenly looked at Han Jiniang in his arms. Han Jiniang also shrank her pupils, and the blush on her face disappeared instantly. This deity knows that your marriage with this man is just in name only, and it's just a play on the spot. Right now, Ren Qinfan has found the entrance to the secret realm, and it seems that he may break in at any time. So, make a decision, Jiniang. Gentleman Bai Feng handed over the decision-making power to the other party. Han Jiniang bit her lip and remained silent. In the end, Under the strong sense of immorality in her heart, she put her head in the arms of her lover. As cold and arrogant as she used to be, she actually said in a begging tone, "Bai Lang, before I divorce this man, he is my husband after all. Isn't it too cruel to do this? How about another day? It can't be changed." Bai Feng shook his head resolutely and said, "Madam, if you choose this deity, today we will do things to the extreme." Ah! After hearing this, Han Jiniang's cheeks became even redder, and she lightly patted the man's strong chest with her pink fist. "It really is a bad man who can do whatever he wants. Bai Qingling, is there really nothing in this world that you worry about?" "No." Without the slightest hesitation, Bai Feng replied, "The appearance of Hall Master Ren will only increase the attack speed of this deity." However, the second he finished speaking, a choked girl's voice came. "Master! Are you in there? Singer is so worried." "I rely on Singer, how did she find it?" Bai Feng's heart was shocked, and he quickly put away the Huimeng fairy bed and put Han Jiniang down. "Humph, so this little girl is your only weakness? I have already discovered that you are unusual." Han Jiniang curled her lips, and said in a sour tone, Bai Qingling, you are such a fool that you even brought up a little disciple with one hand." Just when the two looked at each other awkwardly, boom! The azure blue sky in the secret realm was suddenly pierced by an extremely powerful blood-colored sword energy. Next moment, 3 different lights passed through the gap, descended directly in front of the two, and turned into 3 human figures. The shortest figure among them is impressively Seeing this familiar tall figure appear in front of her eyes, Sen Singer burst into tears, and once again called out the word master in her memory. "Singer, don't cry, there is nothing wrong with being a teacher." Bai Feng put his big hand on the top of the girl's head, and gently caressed it as usual. "As a teacher, I'm just discussing some secrecy and important matters with Mrs. Ren here." Sen Singer nodded obediently, wiped away her tears, and then instinctively looked aside at Mrs. Ren, who was much more mature and taller than herself. "I saw this red-clothed aunt, the wife of Shura Hall, with flushed cheeks, hands crossed over her chest, with a cautious expression on her face. All her usual delicate makeup was gone. Not only that, her long legs were naked like this, stepping on the ground, and the pair of crystal high-heeled shoes that she loved to wear on weekdays were placed behind her master. Now, even if she is as dumb and cute as her, she still faintly feels something. Isn't that right? Ah, and Hong I and the master. Oh my God! How can she blaspheme her master? How could she do that? How dare she do that? Master, he only belongs to the idiot Singer. At most, only one sister Lingying can be added. There must be no more." Constantly thinking about various scenarios, Sen Singer was heartbroken, wrapped her whole body in the master's large magic robe, and burst into tears. The other side. Ren Qinfan also rushed to Madame, and said with concern on his face, "Madame, are you okay? Madame was not found in the city, and I couldn't sleep because of her husband." Fortunately, the chief recorder of Tathagata City Lord was He Huan back then. Zhong's chief deacon, knows the existence of this Daowen secret realm. "I'm fine." After Han Jiniang finished speaking coldly, she walked straight to her jade shoes without even looking at her husband. "Lady. Me. I'm coming. You just exhausted your energy just now, so don't get tired." Ren Qinfan took the first step, rushed over, and brought the pair of high-heeled jade shoes over. Han Jiniang gave her husband a blank look, snatched the shoes and put them on by herself. "Humph, Ren Qinfan, what did you just say?" "No, nothing." Not daring to look directly into his wife's eyes, Rankin Fan quickly lowered his head. The other side. While Bai Fen was comforting the little apprentice, his peripheral vision also fell on the third person. It was a middle-aged man dressed as a scribe, and his cultivation was about in the alchemy realm. "Your Excellency?" he asked coldly. "I am the master under the Tathagata City Lord's command. This time, I came to assist the palace master and break through to find his wife." "I see." Bai Fen nodded slightly, recalled the plot of the previous life, and asked again, "I don't know if your Lord City Master has any other words to convey." "What about this?" The master's expression was tangled, and he said suspiciously, "May I ask what is your relationship with Master Ren?" Senseinger on the side said excitedly. "TCH. You don't even know my master?" "Listen carefully, She didn't finish her sentence. The small mouth was blocked by a pair of big hands. "I'm traveling with MRS Ren, that's all." Bai Feng said indifferently, and then looked at MRS Ren who was at the side. The two looked at each other from a distance. The scene of passionate kiss just now reappeared. In each other's hearts, there was a wonderful feeling of shame and secret pleasure. "Hall Master Ren." "Madam Ren." The master walked over politely, and said to the Shura Palace couple, "My Tathagata City Master has prepared high-quality immortal wine. I invite the two of you to come to the City Lord's Palace to drink and have fun together. I wonder if it is okay." "What about this?" Rankin Fan asked for instructions and looked aside at the wife who was arranging her makeup and clothes. "Ken." Han Jiniang looked solemn, and said word by word, "Since the Lord Tathagata sincerely invites you, my wife and I will come later. Anyway, there are still 2 days before the Magic Deo conference, so the schedule is not in a hurry." "Okay. That's it? The villain will retreat first and report back to the City Lord." The master made a salute, then turned into a light and escaped from the secret realm. "Ma'am, the master and the apprentice are also willing to go. I wonder if you can refuse." Bai Feng took his disciple's hand and walked over. "Bai Qingling, what do you care about?" Seeing this man approaching, Rankin Fan clenched his fists tightly, and the aggrieved resentment in his heart rose again. He knows better than anyone else. This lonely man and widow live in the same room. If you say that nothing else happened, who the hell would believe it? Not sure. Just before they came, this nasty yellow-haired boy, holding his wife's unparalleled beautiful legs, entered. Think about it. Jade-faced demon sword immortal's face turned livid, and his whole body was trembling. "Bai Qingling, don't mess around, you should know what the concubine is going to do, right?" Han Jiniang was in a hurry, and hurriedly used the secret method to transmit the voice. "Of course I know." Bai Feng said indifferently, "The madam wants to get rid of the fat and pig-like wife of the city lord, Shueruyi, and give her bullied girl's generation a complete end, doesn't she? Also, instead of calling me by my name, I would rather hear madam call me by Lang." "You." Han Jiniang blushed, and said again, "Do you want to help me?" "Madam worked so hard just now to help MRS Bai vent her anger, so what's the difficulty for me to help madam kill this fat pig? Besides, madam should know that Shueruyi is not an ordinary person. She is the daughter of the suzerain of Huangzai section. She has the middle-grade spiritual treasure Huangzai goggle bestowed by her mother all year round. It is difficult for ordinary people to hurt her. Since madam wants to take revenge, she must go all out and let this girl slip away without the slightest surprise." Bai Feng said. "Forget it, I already know." Listening to the man's plain words, Han Jiniang's heart felt warm like never before. This moment, she suddenly felt. "I gave the only sincerity in this life to this man, so much so that I knelt down just now, for him. Everything is worth it." Thinking of this, her heart set off a stormy sea, wishing she could throw herself into that man's embrace again. However, because there are idlers waiting around, She could only close her eyes and calm down. After a long time. She didn't reply a word, but turned around, stepped on a pair of high heels, and walked gracefully towards the entrance of the secret realm. Etc. Just now we were interrupted by a few people who suddenly appeared in the final stage. This time, if I don't reply to him and just leave with Renkin-fan, will this man think wildly? Will he think that what I have done to him just now is all hypocrisy? In this way, will he, who looks cold and indifferent, secretly feel sad? Think about it. Mrs. Ren suddenly felt distressed. She really wanted to say something more to that man. However, the husband in name only next to her talked to her attentively, but it made her a little bit reluctant to let go. Hesitated for a long time. She finally thought of how to express her feelings to the lover behind her who she really admired. She walked along with her husband. A hand is secretly put behind the back. Then, blushing, she secretly lifted the hem of her skirt. Hold the grass. Jin Niang is too open. Ren Turtle is still beside her. But Bai Feng's head felt hot when he saw it. Of course he knew that Han Jinniang would use this to express her feelings for him. Because she specially put on the black silk that she gave her today. Moreover, because black silk is open, and this Mrs. Ren has never liked to wear. The spring of just now is fully revealed. Wonderful. Compared to Xing it's much denser, but it has a different flavor. Bai Feng said secretly. Is the master still looking at that wife? Sen Xing who was wrapped in a magic robe in her arms, secretly revealed her small head, with a small cherry mouth, slightly curled down, as if a little lost. No, the deity is looking at you. His head was getting hotter and hotter. Bai Feng caressed Xing charming little face, and couldn't help but said, forget it, Xing it's time to reward you, but we have to go to the city lord's palace first, and do some exciting things. Yeah, degree. The main palace of the city, the welcoming hall. The center of the hall. In front of a luxurious square table made of high-quality red nan mua, sat the couple from Shura Palace, Godfather Kangming, who kept his identity secret, and his beloved disciple. Tisk, ma'am, look, the palace of the city lord of this vassal city-state is so extravagantly built. The Hehuan sect has more financial resources than we imagined. Renkin-fan looked around and was full of praise. Shut up you. Han Jinniang scolded coldly, and instead of arguing, she looked at the men and women who had just entered. Seeing that this lover who had just exchanged feelings with her in the Daowen secret realm was still holding the little disciple's hand, she bit her lip and looked a little angry. Baking. Bailang, where did you go with your apprentice just now? I'm a concubine, well, I'm quite worried. She couldn't help but use the secret method to transmit the voice. In order not to be eavesdropped by others, she even added a few spells on top of this secret technique. No problem. The deity and the apprentice have done a very satisfying thing. Mrs. Baoren is satisfied. Bai Feng said with a mysterious face, took Xiao Xing's hand, and sat on the seat opposite. Bai Qingling. I am warning you. There is a limit to human patience. Don't play with fire and burn yourself. Seeing this man flirting with his wife again, Renkin-fan was furious and raged again. Incompetent rage will only make you look down upon by women even more. Bai Feng raised his eyebrows indifferently. If the deity is you, you can risk your life to regain the dignity of a man. You know. The man you regard as your enemy is nothing more than the strongest Gudeo venerable in the eastern land, who is worthy of fighting back and forth with Mu Xinlan, a mysterious girl from the Taoist section. Hearing this, the jade-faced demon sword immortal, who was furious just a second ago, suddenly died down. Why didn't he know that this nasty yellow-haired boy was trying to provoke him on purpose? However, what else can he do as Renkin-fan? Just like what Huang Mao himself said, he is someone who can tie with Muse Inlan. Over the years, he has fought against countless magic masters, and he has never been defeated. Compared with him, the new king of the demonic way, this old-fashioned demon lord himself is completely worthless. It's just a remnant of the old days. I admit defeat, by Qingling. Suddenly, the Lord of Shura Hall covered his face in pain, and said to the man with a secret method, "But don't break through my bottom line. Otherwise, even if I fight to the death, I won't let you go." "Oh? Master Ren, what exactly do you want to say?" "Anyway, the protagonist tonight hasn't arrived yet," so Bai Feng asked curiously. "This seat wants to say." Ren Qinfan's face turned blue again, he gritted his teeth, and said word by word, You yellow-haired boy, you'd better be gentle with my wife. Ma'am, she's been corroded by goo poison, and her bones are not very good." It's really you. Ren Qinfan. Bai Feng almost couldn't hold back, and sat up. At this moment, Han Jiniang on the side noticed that the atmosphere was not right, cleared her throat quickly, and said to the attendants of the city lord's mansion, "Humph. Your city lord's ears are a little too big, let us wait for a long time, what will he do, are you coming yet?" "Huh. Hey. The chief attendant at the side, with a lost smile, said in a secretive manner, "My city lord is called Tathagata, Tathagata, Tathagata." "You boy, what nonsense are you talking about?" Han Jiniang frowned and was about to explode. The lover on the opposite side took the first step, left his seat, and came to the window lattice behind him. Immediately afterwards, he stretched out his pale 5 fingers, towards the empty void, and grabbed it vigorously. Snapped. When he grabbed it, it was obvious that he was grabbing nothing, but he made the sound of bones breaking. Just when the audience was stunned. In the void, phantoms of spiritual consciousness gradually emerged, and then these phantoms gradually merged and solidified at a speed visible to the physical body. Soon, a human form appeared. It is the skinny and rootless city lord, Zhou Roulette. And the godfather of Kangming, Qingling Mozhen grabbed Zhou Roulette's arm. Tisk, city lord Zhou, so you also play Yuan Shen. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate. Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 99. Chapter 99. Cute little Qingling, show my sister quickly. 4,000 words. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. My city lord's psycho phantom Dafa is flawless. How could it be noticed by you? The lord of Rootless City, Zhou Roulette, looked at the black-robed man in panic. Your Excellency's original spirit illusion Dafa is indeed sublime, but if the deity sacrifices the absolute perception of the surrounding energy from the imperial containing breath technique, what should you do? As Bai Feng said coldly, the strength of his wrist intensified, and he tightly clamped Zhou Roulette's wrist, unable to move at all. Primeval breath-holding technique. Why did you acquire this demon god's chi training method in the early days? Who is your excellency? At this moment, Zhou Roulette's face was pale, his voice and body were trembling endlessly. Bai Feng didn't speak, but looked at the young apprentice Xing tell him the identity of your master. Sen Xing was at the side, her beautiful eyes obsessively admiring the heroic posture of Master Shizun. Hearing this, he was taken aback for a moment. 2 seconds later, she finally came to her senses, walking over with a pair of beautiful white silk legs, Master Zhou. Listen up. At this moment, standing in front of you is the youngest demon venerable in the history of Dongtu, the master of Kangming Yaluo Palace, the holder of Kangming's soul ring and soul sword, the godfather of Kangming, the top Gu Dao supreme in the mainland, and the owner of the innate formless demon body. With her small face solemn, she uttered a series of titles in succession. Zhou Rule's complexion also became paler and paler. In the end, the whole person was completely limp on the ground. He never expected it. That terrifying demon Lord Qingling unexpectedly came to Rutla City with Ren Qinfan and his wife. This also means Sovereign Ji's plan has completely failed. Under extreme panic, he changed his mind sharply, and said with a dry smile. Ah ha ha ha. Really unexpected. Master Godfather, you have also come to our Rutla City. It's the little one who has eyes and doesn't know Mount Tai. But Mo Jun, the villain, used this phantom technique to lurk in, just wanting to play a joke with everyone as the host. There is absolutely no malicious intention. Please also ask the Demon Lord to investigate clearly. Zhou Rule knelt down and cried and begged. Zhou Rule, you kindly invited me and my wife to the banquet, but you sneakily hid aside. What is your intention? You'd better speak clearly. Seeing that his rival had taken the limelight, Ren Qinfan also drew his sword and scolded in a cold voice. What's the hurry, Master Ren? Baifeng glanced at the green-haired turtle coldly. Just watch carefully what City Lord Zhou wants to do. Star. He waved lightly. N. Senior is here. Sen Senior obediently stood at attention. Show it to Palace Master Ren and Madam Ren, what City Master Zhou wants to do. Yes. Master. Sen Senior nodded, took out the magic forging pot, and input a spiritual thought familiarly. Laugh. In the void, endless spooky aura surges. In the dense black ghost mist, a huge ghost general in black scale armor with a Yanioegwin knife in his hands appeared. Stupid. Open your mouth. I'm in a hurry. Sen Senior gave orders coldly. As the adults wish. The ghost general bowed respectfully first, and then opened his mouth at an incredible angle. Under the stunned gaze of everyone in the hall, I saw countless terrifying grimaces reflected in the abyssal mouth of this ghost general. Each of these grimaces was distorted and painful, and they kept wailing, which made people's hair stand on end. This is. Seeing this, Zhou Rule's liver and gallbladder were torn apart, and his inner defense completely collapsed. As City Lord Zhou saw the 100 resentments and souls extinguishing array that you set up around this welcoming hall with the little ghosts you have raised for many years as sacrifices to kill the hall master and his wife has been completely disintegrated by the proud disciple of this deity. And thanks to your blessings, the quality of my disciple's natal spirit treasure magic forging pot has risen to another level. You, people are strange. Baifeng said with a sneer. Wow. The master praised me as his proud disciple. Sen Senior was delighted to hear it, her eyes sparkled with starlight. No. It's all well trained by master, Senior is just following the trend. Regardless of the presence of others, she happily leaned close to master's back, rubbing her back like a kitten. Han Jiniang on the side watched the whole process calmly. However, after seeing this scene, jealousy arose in her heart. A woman's intuition is the most accurate. She had correctly guessed the relationship between Hua Yuerong and that man before. Now I can even make a judgment. This little girl's feelings for Bai Lang definitely go beyond the category of master and apprentice. Hey, Bai Lang, as the saying goes, female students avoid their fathers, and your apprentice is just at the age of first love. You are a bad man, and you never know how to restrain your charm, so you can't keep your distance. No, I have to remind this man after the Demon Deo conference. If I let it go, this little girl might be real. Han Jiniang was secretly making up her mind to pay attention. The husband who was not real at the side raged again. Zhou Roulette. You are so vicious, do you want to try my magic sword, is it sharp? Humph. Hall Master Ren doesn't have to pretend to be a tiger. Zhou Roulette, who was dragged by Baifeng with a dejected look on his face, sneered disdainfully at the Lord Shura, the lord of the city lost to Demon Lord Qingling today. If it weren't for their master and apprentice, at this moment, I have trapped you, husband and wife, in the corpse soul formation. Even if you can't be wiped out for a while, I will never let you appear in the Demonic Alliance conference. Finished. He sighed heavily, and looked at Mojun Qingling next to him again. His expression became dejected and humble again. Mojun, the villain has heard about your tricks, and I beg you to give me a happy ending. I can die in any way. As long as I don't enter that blood kitchen. Who said this deity is going to kill you? Baifeng said with a smile that was not a smile, and let go of his hand. That Zhou Rule sat down on the ground with a stunned expression, as if he thought he heard it wrong. Mojun, what does this mean? Zhou Rule, you are of greater use to this deity if you are alive. Over the years, under the oppression and intervention of that tiger-like wife, you managed to manage the rootless city so prosperously and prosper. It is indeed a talent. The territory of our Kangming sect is twice as large as that of the Hehuan sect, but we don't have a city lord of a vassal city-state under our command, who has your talents. Therefore, he didn't finish speaking, but Zhou Rule was trembling, and took over the conversation. The devil wants to recruit me. You can understand it this way, or... Baifeng looked at the other party with cold eyes. This is your only chance to avoid death. After hearing this, Zhou Rule's dark eyes brightened for a second, and then dimmed again. He sighed heavily and said, the demon venerable is absurdly praised. Let me tell you the truth, even if I am willing to throw myself into Kangming, I am afraid that my wife will not agree. Hey! Humph! You bastard! You are a masculine man, you have to make a decision by yourself, it all depends on your wife's face. Are you still a man? The Lord Shura at the side couldn't help but curse again. Renkin Fan. Shut up. Sit down. A cold female voice sounded. Yes. Madam. Renkin Fan gritted his teeth and sat back in his seat. Zhou Rule, I know what the nightmare in your heart is. But since then, it doesn't exist. Baifeng said lightly, pointing to the corner with his finger. Zhou Ru looked back and forth, only to see an extra burden at the corner of the wall. He hurriedly motioned to the attendants around him to fetch the burden. Open it up. There is a bloody human head inside. Ma'am The moment he saw clearly the facial features of this fat head with big ears, Zhou Rule burst into tears and howled loudly. It's just that the howling gradually turned into an extremely presumptuous laugh. In the end, the rootless city lord, who was well known in the East, laughed and danced as if he had broken free from some kind of shackles. Everyone was surprised when they saw it. Okay, as you can see. The wife who has been suppressing you, Shuiruyi, the daughter of the suzerain of the Huangzai Zen sect and the former saint of the Acacia sect, is dead. You're free. Make a choice, Zhou Rule. Dressed in a black robe, Baifeng issued an ultimatum like a god of death. Zhou Rule, I would like to bring all the people of Rootless City, the three major families and casual cultivators in the city, to submit to the Kangming sect. As for the timing of changing flags, I will follow the orders of the Demon Lord. Without any more worries, Zhou Rule bowed down. Baifeng said lightly. From today onwards, your Rootless City is a vassal of my Yuluo Palace. The Dao conference is coming soon. Before this deity becomes the Lord, you will temporarily stand still, but before that, you can secretly go to the Kangming General Altar to meet your new suzerain. Obey. Palace Master. Zhou Rule kowtowed again. Okay, I think City Lord Zhou has prepared a sumptuous banquet tonight, so let's not waste it. Baifeng clapped his palms, let's have a seat. Godfather Kangming said these words. After a second of silence, the entire City Lord's palace was busy all night. That night, in the main hall of the City Lord's palace, a sumptuous and luxurious banquet was set up,
with a dazzling array of Xianmei and first-class delicacies. Bai Feng was cold throughout the whole process and didn't say much. He just quietly looked at the little apprentice on the side, eating non-stop. I didn't expect that this girl is still a foodie. But eating so much, why, well, it doesn't grow. He was thinking about it secretly. Suddenly, I felt something under my body. He couldn't help but frowned, and looked down under the table. On the opposite side, Mrs. Ran, who had just been tender with him in the secret realm, had already taken off her high heels, and a seductive jade foot wrapped in black silk, with the toes pointing down, was poking towards her. Because her beautiful legs are very slender, the toes easily touched his knees, and they were still moving wantonly. Damn it, she really took a long way. You know, besides Singer and the Green Turtle Rankin fan, there are so many officials from the City Lord's mansion at this table. Bai Feng complained in his heart. Han Jiniang spoke again, you and your apprentice were so late, so you went to kill Shuiruyi, didn't you? Yes. Bai Feng nodded. Then, what are you doing for? Han Jiniang hesitated to speak, her cheeks blushed instantly. Yes, it's for you, to avenge you. Bai Feng said unequivocally, I have already told you when I was in Daowen's secret realm, didn't I? Bai Lang. Han Jiniang's beautiful eyes turned red suddenly, and she called softly. So what? Bai Feng frowned slightly. My concubine wants you. Han Jiniang said with difficulty, and raised her other beautiful leg. Her cheeks were pink, half provocative, half shy, and stretched out towards her lover. For this wife's increasingly outrageous behavior, Bai Feng was completely dumbfounded. Fortunately, she is only operating in the dark under the table. Otherwise, in front of Rankin Fan, Singer, and so many idlers, even with Bai's openness, it would be hard to accept. This wave is the legendary table dumpling. Bai Feng simply closed his eyes, diverted his thoughts, and began to think about the next plan for the magic conference. And at this time, Rankin Fan, who was talking with Jorula and others, noticed his wife's strange expression, and asked with concern, Ma'am, what's wrong with you? Why is your face so rosy? Is it very hot? Don't worry about it. You can represent my Kangming Shang zone, just call Jorula and others. Han Jiniang said coldly, and looked at the man in the black magic robe opposite again. Upon seeing his pale and handsome cheeks, there was also a blush of enjoyment. There was an inexplicable pride and ecstasy in her heart. I can't wait to jump over and reward this man well. At this moment, a report came from outside. Report to Lord City Lord. The Queen of Yin and her party have also entered Rutla City, and they are outside the City Lord's palace at this moment. What? After hearing this, it wasn't just the City Lord Jorula and others. Even Mo Junqingling, who had a cold and paralyzed face the whole time, sat up suddenly with a look of shock on his face. At the same time, in his mind, the memory of Master Yurong, the wife of the Demon Emperor, completely emerged. That's a large witch who is quite reckless, and no one can stand it. That's right. No one can stand it? Including her husband, the Demon Emperor Zhang Bailei, and the stallion hero Xiao Chen. Even Bai Qingling, who was proud and arrogant and overwhelmed her peers in her youth, was just a shy little boy who was teased in front of this strong and playful big sister. Nightmare, it's just a nightmare. The memories of the past surged in his mind, and Bai Feng could not help but shudder. The knees instinctively closed, and suddenly pinched Jiniang's black silk jade legs. Master, what's the matter? That Queen of Yin. Sen Singer at the side finally sensed that Master's expression was not right, put down the chicken leg in his hand, and asked with twinkling eyes, could she be our enemy? Bai Feng shook his head, then, forcibly calming down, said, it doesn't matter, the deity will come out. The word hand has not yet been exported.
Outside the city lord's palace, a sexy and somewhat sweet voice from Yuja came. "Hey, cute little Qingling, are you in there? Be good. Show me quickly. Baifeng, /U003E/U003C. I love the Demon Lord, my female disciples are all sick and delicate." Author, Zhi Shi Shui Bao Ao. Chapter 100. Chapter 100. Ask the Queen of Yin to help me practice. 6,000 words. Strange. According to the plot of the game in the previous life, even if the player played by Xiao Chen chooses to attack Han Jiniang and open the branch line of Rutla City, Xiao Qingmei, the Empress of Yin, will not appear in Rutla City, but will directly arrive at the Hehuan sect main altar. So, is she really here for me? Thinking of this, Baifeng's eyes twitched. As the extremely domineering demon lord Qingling, at this moment, he felt a little nervous in his heart. He unconsciously grabbed Xing'er's little hand next to him. "What are you doing in a daze? Hurry up and follow me to meet the Yin Queen." The city lord Zhou reacted immediately and shouted at the officials. His words fell silent. Next moment, with a powerful and domineering evil spirit, it enveloped the entire city palace. In the void, shadows surge. Immediately afterwards, in the hall, countless people watched in amazement, fear, and awe. A beautiful woman who was nearly 10 feet tall, with a huge figure but still slender curves, stepped out of the shadows. Hey, it really is her. As expected of the big sister who gave Bai Qingling a headache in her youth. Baifeng also looked intently at this legendary witch of the same era as Mu Xinlan, the Empress of Yin Xiao Qingmei. I saw her long silver-white hair, bound by a gorgeous purple-gold phoenix crown, wearing a golden long dress that shone with magic light, under the extremely short skirt, a pair of extremely slender, but still full and sensual white and tender bare legs were revealed without any scruples. As she walked towards her gracefully. Because of its huge size, it is even richer and more majestic than my junior sister Yurong, shaking violently up and down. Baifeng even felt that if he used the famous stunt of Dragon Claw, there would be clear springs and waterfalls gushing out of it. The most outrageous thing is, on top of such a plump and mature figure, there is a delicate and provocative face of Yuja. Between looking and looking, sultry. Everyone in the audience was completely stunned. My God! Is this the wife of His Majesty the Demon Emperor? This is too beautiful. Master Yinho is one of the 4 ancient clans in Yunzhou, a descendant of the Xiao family, with half of the succubus blood in her body, so she is naturally charming. Not only does he look good. This kind of heart is also the best in the world. I'm so envious of the Demon Emperor. Hey, it's a pity that the demons are too tall. It would be great if they were normal. What do you know? It's this height difference that makes people excited. Misters, I'll make a call first. Ahem, excuse me. Silence for this seat. Above the hall, a shout rang out. Everyone's discussion stopped abruptly, and they all looked back. I saw that the one who spoke was not the Tathagata city lord, nor the Qingling demon venerable who was the biggest in the audience, but jade-faced demon sword immortal, Renkin Fan, the younger generation, pay homage to the Queen of Yin. It's been 300 years since the Second Great War between righteousness and demons, and the Yin Queen has become more and more beautiful. Renkin Fan smiled courteously, and knelt down in front of those super long beautiful legs. Hey, Renkin Fan, you kid, you are getting greasy. Xiao Qingmei looked coldly at Palace Master Shura on the ground. Damn, in front of your old man, Qian Fan will always be that clear and sunny boy. Renkin Fan said with a flattering face, and stood up. It is also this time. Only people will notice. Although this jade-faced demon sword immortal was not as good as that the most handsome man in the East Qingling demon lord, he was still tall and handsome, and his figure crushed most of the guests in the audience. At this moment, Standing in front of this queen of yin, she looks like a young boy, just reaching the height of the other's chest. The aura was instantly killed, and there was no scum left. Rankin Fan. Didn't you see that people don't want to see you? Get back. How long will you continue to embarrass me in Shura Hall? At this moment, a cold female voice sounded. It was the beautiful wife with black silk that had been attracting the attention of the audience, Madame Ren, who spoke. Huh. Xiao Qingmei let out a sigh, and there was a hint of curiosity in her cold eyes. Rankin Fan, this is. Let the Yin Queen laugh, she is, my wife. Rankin Fan hurriedly said with a smile on his face. I didn't expect you to find such an extraordinary wife for an embroidered pillow like yours. Really? Tisk tisk. Xiao Qingmei said with a smile that was not a smile. She looked away from the husband and wife, and looked again at the handsome boy in black robe who stood still. The moment he saw Qingling Mozhen's handsome face, her majestic and pretty face, as if the ice and snow melted, softened instantly under the gaze of the audience. This large beauty, who seemed to have stepped out of a tribe of giants, walked towards the godfather of Kangming step by step. The men around, against the backdrop of her tall figure, looked like immature children, and retreated timidly to the side. After a second, in the silent hall, there was a joyful and cheerful voice of Yuja. Oh my God! Xiao Qingling! I haven't seen you for 100 years. Are you so majestic and majestic? Hurry up! Come here and let my sister check your body for you. Baifeng felt his scalp go numb. With his head down, he didn't dare to look directly into the eyes of this big sister shining with tiger and wolf light. You know, since he crossed over, his Xingxing has gradually merged with Bai Qingling, and he has the momentum of a demon king. Even if Mu Xinlan suddenly appeared, he would never lose his footing. However, at this time, he was really at a loss. After all, according to the memory in his mind, he knows one thing very well. This female idiot with succubus blood and moody moods will really treat him as a cute little brother and play him to death. Baifeng turned his face to one side, and said indifferently, as Queen Yin said, 100 years have passed, and this deity is no longer the ignorant and immature young man back then. So, ahem, please be more careful with what Queen Yin says. Unexpectedly, after hearing his words, the eyes of this demon emperor's wife are shining, and her expression is even more excited. Wow! It's still the familiar old-fashioned and serious face. Xiao Qingling, you haven't changed at all, you really. Too cute and spicy. As she spoke, she couldn't help but bent down, stretched out her hands, and embraced the handsome man on the seat into her arms. This moment, the audience was shocked. Jorula and other officials of the city lord's mansion, as well as Han Jiniang, Rankin Fan, and his wife, all stared wide-eyed. The victim, Baifeng, panicked even more. What is she? A married mature woman molested a young boy in public. The family members don't understand. Wretched girl, you're really down. As the face is sunk into the gentleness, Baifeng was stunned. Totally overwhelmed. You know, since time traveling, he has been the one who loves someone, with the attitude of a superior, who handles women. I have never been so helpless and passive as I am now. The key point is that he can't resist desperately and maintain his dignity as a demon. You know, this woman's strength is not much worse than Mu Xinlan's. What's more, she will have to rely on her help to successfully win the demonic Dao conference and defeat the leaders of the 7 great demonic sects. Think about it. Baifeng could only swallow his anger. If you are ashamed, be ashamed. In front of this number 1 witch in the east, let alone him, a young demon lord, what about those old monsters who were contemporaries with Mu Xinlan? Just at the moment when he made up his mind to give up resistance, Baifeng suddenly discovered
The elastic touch of this facial cleanser is actually comparable to that of the Virgin Junior sister. You wrong. Bad woman. Let go of my master. Stupid bastard. Come out and do some hot work. Just when everyone was astonished, a vicious female voice sounded from above the hall. Immediately afterwards, there was a gust of wind outside the window, and the ghostly aura surged. In the void, a majestic ghost general wearing black scales and holding the Yanyuguan knife suddenly appeared behind him. Ah, I didn't expect this little girl to be carrying the legendary spirit body of controlling ghosts. Xiao Qingmei's beautiful eyes were shining, and she looked down at the petite and lovely girl with great interest. As she spoke, she turned sideways inadvertently. It was a perfect escape from the sneak attack from the ghost general's back. My God, the master said that the stupid devil's current strength is enough to face the strong nascent soul peak head-on, and now a sneak attack with perfect timing can't hurt her at all. Sensei's face was pale with fear. The ghost general also held the Anu saber high, and stood there blankly, looking at the little master with a helpless expression. Stop, star. Bai Feng quickly stopped the young disciple. The Queen of Yin was kind to this deity in the early years, so don't be rude to her. Ah. Oh, Senior knows. Senior nodded, and brought the magic forging pot into the zifu. Then, looking at the woman who looked like a giant, she mustered up her courage and shouted with tears in her eyes. Senior Yinho. Please let go of my patriarch, master, please. Okay, okay. Seeing the girl's lovely appearance, Xiao Qingmei smiled. Tisk tisk, Xiao Qingling, you are really as cute as you were back then. Thank you, Empress Yin, for your compliment. While talking, Bai Feng cast a look at Han Jiniang in the distance, signaling her to take care of his disciple. Okay, okay, don't be nervous. Xiao Qingmei looked around the crowd, and said in a gentle yet majestic way, I came here specially to say hello to my old friend. You can continue to eat, drink and celebrate, don't be restrained. After finishing speaking, she came to the little princess of Yuluo Palace again. Kneeling down, caressing her lovely face, there was maternal tenderness in her eyes. Little cutie, I will borrow your master to use it later, and then go to the Acacia sect. You follow the couple who are beside you. Together, okay. You. Hearing this, Sensei's beautiful eyes widened, her expression on the verge of tears. Humph. I won't borrow it. Master is my master. Han Jiniang also frowned, and said coldly, Humph, Yinho's words are too arrogant. Palace Master Bai belongs to me. No, he is the representative of our Kangming section. Together with my husband and wife, we are entrusted by the sect master. Going to the meeting, how can you delay the big event because of your personal desires? While talking, she stretched out her jade hand, pulled her lover behind her, and said in a voice, Bai Lang, don't worry, with my concubine here, even if Mu Zinlin comes in person, I won't hurt a single hair of you. Hey, the inheritor of the undead divine phoenix body is really tough. Xiao Qingmei smiled and looked at this beauty whose appearance was not inferior to her own. Humph. You woman, how can you see my bones? Han Jiniang frowned, surprised. Ma'am. Don't. The Queen of Yin is a senior. Let's not be rude. Ren Qinfan on the side couldn't sit still any longer, and rushed up to persuade him to make peace. Seeing the two beauties and strong men from different generations, their swords were on the verge of breaking out. Everyone took a step back. The atmosphere became more and more tense. At this moment, a calm male voice sounded. Jiniang, Senior, don't worry. It just so happens that the deity also has some thoughts in his heart, and wants to talk to Queen Yin. At this moment, Bai Feng has completely recovered the momentum of a generation of demon kings. His eyes are indifferent and calm. However, when he raised his head and looked directly at the pretty face of the super long beauty for the first time,
The whole person still couldn't help but froze for a few seconds. It's too high? Since time traveling, he has gotten used to the natural sense of superiority brought by this tall and burly demon body. I am more used to the height difference between Senior and Lingian, girls like this. At this moment, standing in front of Xiao Qingmei, her height was only up to her shoulders. He felt that he instantly changed from a muscular man to a harmless little gentleman. Speaking of which, with her body type, if I want to attack her, I'm afraid it will be a bit difficult, right? That's all. It's a big deal. Put up a chair. It's not shameful. Bai Feng was thinking about it. It was dark again. This wife and eldest sister actually took him into her arms again, and said excitedly, "Whoa! Xiao Qingling. Sure enough, you haven't forgotten my sister. Before the reincarnation pagoda, I didn't hurt you in vain from now on. Sen Senior. Han Jiniang, dish. Dawn breaks. The first ray of morning light, passing through the clouds, dyed the sky pale gold. In the open space outside the Rutla city, a huge royal flying boat with gorgeous exterior decoration and carved dragons and phoenixes slowly soared up. The interior of the airship. Bai Feng lay on the soft carpet made of ancient monster fur, feeling extremely comfortable. Really not bad. Sitting in the flying boat exclusive to His Majesty the Demon Emperor, it feels really good. He muttered with emotion, and looked at the tall and beautiful figure beside him. At this moment, the Demon Emperor's wife was wearing a slightly revealing sexy apron, brewing spiritual tea for him meticulously. Such a peaceful posture, no longer looks like the queen of the Eastern Earth, she is clearly a virtuous and gentle wife. And, because of this young queen, her back was facing her. Bai Feng was able to observe her figure better. Tisk tisk, hips are hips, waists are waists, although they are a bit bigger, but the proportions are almost perfect. The most important thing is to be big. It's really too big. Just from the back, you can see the roundness. Bai Feng was appreciating it with Mo Jun's unique artistic vision. The sweet and provocative voice of Yu Ji came from next to my ear, "Xiao Qingling, what are you peeping at?" "No, nothing." Bai Feng shook his head. Then, by accident, she stood up and came behind the Demon Emperor's wife. The next moment, he could no longer hold back the curiosity in his heart. Stretched out his hands, and gestured on the opponent's waist. "Hey, it really doesn't matter if you don't step on the chair. But let's talk about the trash of the Demon Emperor. In the game, his image is a demonized dwarf. How did he succeed? Could it be that Xiao Qingmei is also a fragrant virgin wife like Jin Niang?" Bai Feng was muttering to himself. But I heard a half-provocative and pleasant female voice. "Hey, you little guy, you are getting more and more courageous. Aren't you afraid that sister will fix you? Ahem, this deity just wants to observe the Yinho tea ceremony, but I'm a bit out of control." Bai Feng said solemnly, and quickly sat back. "Ha ha ha ha, Xiao Qingling, don't you forget." Xiao Qingmei suddenly turned her head slightly, her beautiful eyes were smiling. "How?" Bai Feng was stunned. "My sister, my tea skills are top-notch in the East. All the spiritual teas that I have handled in the future have more than 10 times the efficacy and quality." While talking, Xiao Qingmei held a plate of strong Penglace no ginseng tea with both hands, and sat beside her. "Try it?" "Well, thank you." Bai Feng was polite, and then took a shallow sip. In an instant, as if blessed to the soul, a warm and auspicious aura was ingested from Tianling Gai, and quickly spread to the whole body. As the blood vessels, muscles, bones and membranes seem to be stretched, the auspicious qi moves from the outside to the inside, infiltrating the body and mind. The feeling, wonderful. Also this moment, Bai Feng suddenly remembered some past events. In the past, When the Tower of Reincarnation was opened, countless demon masters gathered to prove the Tao and become famous in the mainland, and this deity was rewarded by the Queen of Yin with a pot of Surah 100 Wars tea, so that he was able to overwhelm the heroes and seize the source of demons. Developed the natal magic power, the Heavenly Demon Transformation Dragon Sutra, and obtained the position of Demon Lord. This love, Qingling, will always be remembered. He said word for word. Hey, you little mouth, you can talk a lot more than you did back then. Xiao Qingmei chuckled, her beautiful eyes fixedly looked at the cautious young Mojun beside her. For a moment, she seemed to see the shy and stubborn boy again. Love and pity arose in my heart, and I couldn't help but take him into my arms again. Empress Yin, you. Baifeng sensed that something was wrong with the other party, and gritted his teeth. Please don't do this, MRS Demon Emperor. You have a very high status in the East. If others see it, it is a big taboo. Xiao Qingmei pursed her red lips, and said a little unhappy. What? Back then, in order to get my help, I had a good sister, but now times have changed, and I call her MRS Demon Emperor. You little guy, it's really sad. This. Baifeng couldn't help but blush. According to past memory, when Bai Qingling was a young man, in order to seek the help of the Queen of Yin and obtain the position of Demon Venerable, she really had to bite the bullet and do what she liked, calling her good sister a few times. Even, in the end, in order for the Queen of Yin to help her younger junior sister Yurong become stronger, he let go of his self-esteem and gave the Queen of Yin a massage to please her. Okay, you little guy, you were born with this old and ugly serious look, and my sister doesn't blame you. Xiao Qingmei shrugged, and took off her apron on her own, revealing her proud upper body. By the way, Xiao Qingling, in the past 100 years, have you ever thought about why you will help you after all? This. After hearing this, Baifeng's expression froze, and he was really lost in thought. According to Xiao Qingmei's character design in the game, she doesn't even care about her husband, Demon Emperor Zhongbaile, let alone outsiders. However, she especially favored Bai Qingling. There is no mention of this in the game's backstory. Baifeng searched the memory in his mind, but couldn't find any answer. So, why? Can the Queen of Yin show you? Baifeng turned his head slightly to the side, looking at the plump body exuding the charm of a mature woman. Hey, because. Xiao Qingmei smiled, leaned over, breathed out and said, because Xiao Qingling you look like a person. Who? Baifeng hurriedly asked. A man who can make my good sister, Mu Xinlan, who has loved and killed her whole life, unforgettable. Xiao Qingmei said with a mysterious face. Baifeng was confused. Do you know that there are so many old-fashioned demon masters in the Eastern Earth Demon Dao? Why does Mu Xinlan only catch you, a rising star? Xiao Qingmei took a sip of ginseng tea and said. I don't know. I would like to listen to the teachings of the Queen of Yin. Baifeng said solemnly. Indeed. This is also one of the most puzzling questions he has been asking. Let me tell you the truth, Xiao Qingling. Xiao Qingmei's eyes flickered and said, 3,000 years ago, the last time I fought against Mu Xinlan, I lost 10% to her again, but this time, I was able to sneak into the depths of her consciousness and saw some vague after images of cause and effect. What? Baifeng knew the important point was coming, so he hurriedly asked, Empress Yin might as well make her words clearer. Hey, the specifics, I don't know from now on. Xiao Qingmei stuck out her tongue like a girl. However, we can probably guess that Mu Xinlan has detected a distant future through some kind of heavenly divination from the upper realm, and in that future related to the common people of Zhuzhu here, you are the only reflection in her eyes, and you are as immortal as her, so she desperately wants to get rid of you. I see. Baifeng was thoughtful. In his previous life, he had cleared the game Immortal Love,
especially the first expansion pack, The Fall of the Demon King, no less than 3 times. This is the first time I have learned such a secret. A big boss who got his lunch early and was killed by the plot, is actually destined to be immortal with Muzinlan until the end of time? Is there a possibility? The one who was killed by the disciple Sensinger in the Blood Kitchen was not Qingling Mozhen's body, or in other words, is this itself part of his plan? A magical idea appeared in Baifeng's mind. At the same time, he suddenly remembered something serious. By the way, Empress Yin, the magic conference is coming soon. If you regard Qingling as your confidant, I would like to ask you one thing. What? Xiao Qingmei's beautiful eyes slanted back. Baifeng pondered for a moment, then took the opponent's jade hand. Then, he gritted his teeth, and said a confession that was completely inappropriate for his status with his cheeks flushed slightly. My sister, please help me practice. Accept the great love from Qingling. Xiao Qingmei.